Welcome back everyone.
Icon, I should take welcome for one.
Welcome everyone. I welcome Mr. Sahu, the Padma Shri Awardee in this seminar. Welcome, sir. We now begin plenary session 2, which will focus on Odisha's pathways to sustainable and inclusive development. We now honored to have with us two distinguished speakers for this session, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu as our keynote speaker and Dr. Pati as our esteemed speaker. May I kindly request them to take their seats on the dais, sir. Thank you, sir. To introduce our esteemed speakers, I now invite Dr. Sahu Sena, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, to the podium. Sir, may I request you to kindly introduce our distinguished guests.
Thank you so much. I am feeling very happy because my teacher, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu sir, will be delivering a lecture before us. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Nivedita Nath, Madam, Sri Pitambara Bhoi, Registrar in absentia, esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Kanya Ahuja, distinguished Guest of Honor, Professor Uma Shankar Das, Dr. Uma Charan Pati, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu sir, and National Padma Shri Awardee Patayat Sahu sir, respected faculty members, scholars, dear students, esteemed guests, it is my honor and privilege to introduce a distinguished economist, academician and researcher, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, currently serving as an Associate Professor of Economics at the Indian Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Sahu brings with him over 20 years of extensive teaching and research experience in diverse fields of economics, including open macroeconomics, applied econometrics, industrial economics, environmental economics, development economics, and public policy. His expertise also extends to program management, consultancy, and data-driven policy research. A scholar of high repute, Dr. Sahu holds a PhD in economics from the Indian Social and Economic Exchange, ISEC Bangalore, and MPhil and MA in economics from Utkal University, and has undergone specialized training in quantitative economics at the Indian Statistical Institute, public policy at NIP, FP, and environmental economics at AIT Bangkok. Dr. Sahu's academic contributions are profound, with numerous research publications in reputed journals, books, and policy reports. His work has significantly influenced the fields of social sector economics, healthcare financing, environmental policy, economic forecasting. He has also supervised 15 PhD scholars and several MPhil dissertations shaping the next generation of economists. Beyond academia, Dr. Sahu has collaborated with prestigious global institutions including the World Bank, Asian Development Bank Institute, Tokyo, UNU, WIDER, WIPO, and various government agencies, providing impactful research and policy recommendations. His dedication to the research and education makes him an invaluable presence at today's gathering. It is an honor to welcome Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sesdev Sona sir, for the wonderful introduction. Now, I have the honor of inviting our keynote speaker, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, to deliver his talk. Sir, we eagerly look forward to your insights.
Thank you, Madam Sahu. Once again, I don't remember her name. Thank you, and thanks, Dr. Sesdev, for this wonderful introduction. Let me say at the very outset, it's very difficult to take two sessions or attend two sessions either. The session before lunch, which psychologically keeps you on the dining table, and the toughest session to attend and take is the session after lunch, immediately after lunch, and that too after a delicious lunch which is served here, because psychologically we are in the bedroom. So pardon me, I'll try my best to keep you awake. I've given some half an hour, no? Half an hour. So I'm given some half an hour to deliver my thought. As I said, on Viksit Bharat 2047, actually in the forenoon session I had some 4-5 minutes to my credit, or at my disposal to talk to you. I said I have stored something for the talk in the afternoon. So, but before my talk, I would like to expose you or put before you some statistics. If you can go to the next slide. I said also in my morning session, Viksit probably is a Hindi word which means developed. Viksit Bharat 2047, it intuitively means that we're planning for a developed country, developed India by 2047, when our country becomes 100-year-old. But let's have some statistics before us. Actually, my topic is where do we stand in the global perspective, and what is expected of us to become a Viksit Bharat or a developed nation by 2047, when we'll be celebrating our 100th birthday. So our GDP is, because it's with respect to the other nations, I put it in dollar term, but easily it can be converted into Indian rupees, where 1 rupee is equal to some 85, 86, or $1 is some 86, 85 odd rupees. So GDP is claimed. I don't know actually because I shouldn't be termed as a skeptical or something, who is little, critical about the discipline. Believe me, I love my discipline the most, a student of economics. But GDP, when it is calculated, probably as a student I had to write the definition of GDP, that is the market value of all goods and services produced during a particular financial year by all the factors of productions. But I don't know how it is. But actually when I became a researcher and went into the definition of GDP, it's nothing more than aggregations, predictions, projections, and to certain extent, I don't use that word, but I say, forecasts, something actually. I won't say manipulation, but it's addition something, because my papa who's working in the statistics department, I know how to they calculate, okay? But then, with all these cynic comments, let's accept the fact that its GDP of India is some 3 or 4. Rank actually, aggregate GDP. Some say third rank, some say fourth. Today morning I checked, it's fourth rank with $3.65 trillion. Fourth rank. Okay? But then what is of per capita GDP? Then that's where actually we are a little pumped up. We are the fourth largest economy in the world. But given the size of this country, fourth largest economy, in terms of absolute volume of GDP, does it make any sense? That's why it's better to look at the per capita GDP, particularly in PPT terms. If you don't understand what is per capita GDP in PPT terms, understand only the per capita GDP. ओडिया रे कहले मुंड पिछा है, इट्स सबुतिक देखिबा नै मुंड पिछा है देखा आमे कहबा ना आमर 10 एकर जमी अछि किंतु 20 टा को 20 में जनका हिसाब रे 5 केते आधा एकर खंडे पड़िला जनकर 5 एकर जगह अछि तार गोटे तार 5 एकर पड़िला तो एक्चुअली the way it's put to us by some agencies, I won't be critical about them, as if we've done a big thing. जैसे हमने कहा अर्जुन की तरह आंख में तीर मार दिया, you know. But if you look at the per capita GDP, our rank is 141st. मतलब कहाँ है दिख नहीं रहा. In fact, a country like God-forsaken country, let me tell you, Bangladesh is above us. That's where actually we stand, 141st. In terms of per capita, PPP adjusted, purchasing power adjusted GDP, probably 125th. But okay, consider 125th is the best one. But in PPP per capita also, we are behind countries like Bangladesh. In fact, in Asia, our rank is 35th. Please understand that. Globalization index, actually it's off late after 1991 when we have done away with most of the restrictions. We integrated the economies with the rest of the world, wanted to be global. You know what is our globalization index rank? 62. Overall globalization, it has 3 components. One is economic globalization, political globalization, social globalization. Then the arithmetic mean of these 3 globalization gives us the overall globalization. Overall globalization rank in 2024 is 62. But if I bifurcate, economic globalization actually we're to some 92 or something. Social globalization 80 or exactly I don't remember the rank. Political globalization, because it's the average of this total globalization is the arithmetic mean of these 3 globalization. Political globalization is 19th our rank. उसका मतलब है क्या? जहाँ भी कुछ हमारा जरूरत नहीं पड़े वहाँ हम अपना नाक घुसा रहे हैं. भाई हमारा लोगों को खाने के लिए नहीं है, आप अफगानिस्तान में हॉस्पिटल, ठीक है, ये हमारा कल्चर है कि हम खुद ना खा के दूसरों को देंगे. बट जब तुम्हारा देश में 25% of the people do not get a square meal a day and you praise yourself, give a laugh on your back, अपनी पीठ पे थप्पड़ मार रहे हो कि नहीं हम उखाड़ दिए, मालदीव में जाके ये कर दिए, वहाँ जाके ये कर दिए. अरे मालदीव में जाके कर दिए, मालदीव में आपको लात मार के भगा रहा है. मैं सुबह भाई संस्कृत बोल रहे थे, मैं थोड़ा संस्कृत भी बोल लूँगा इसे। ब्लू जैकेट स्टोरी आप लोगों ने पढ़े होंगे ना, ब्लू जैकेट जो नीलवर्ण सुगाड़ सेटा पढ़ला बेलू संस्कृत लास्ट दुटा गोटे श्लोक थिला, आत्मपक्ष परित्यज्य परपक्षे सुजोरथ सपरे हन्यते मूढ़ नीलवर्ण सुगाड़। वो जो ब्लू जैकेट था लास्ट में दूसरों के हाथ मारा गया क्योंकि वो अपना कोर्ट में अपना जो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहा था, लायन को दे दिया ये, एलिफेंट को दे दिया ये, बियर को दे दिया ये, लेकिन अपनी जो बिरादरी का लोग थे, फॉक्सेस थे, वुल्फ थे, उनको कुछ दिया नहीं था। इसीलिए द अदर पीपल एक्चुअली द लायंस एंड अदर हाथी भाग सब मिसिकी नीलवर्ण सुगाड़ को मार देते। इसमें आत्मपक्ष परित्यज्य जी निज को न चिन्ह कि निज लोक को न जाणिक अन्य ठीक खाली जोड़ी हो दिने ना दिने से अन्य लात मार। एक्चुअली दैट्स एक्चुअली हैज हैपेंड विथ मॉरिशस। मॉरिशस हमको एमिदिया चूना लगेला, एमिदिया लात मारिला एक्चुअली। सो ग्लोबलाइजेशन इंडेक्स, which as a student of economics I would have loved the economic globalization index within top 10, is somehow above or around 100. Social globalization around 80s, पॉलिटिकल ग्लोबलाइजेशन हमारा 19। हम वैक्सीन भेज दिए भाई, तुम्हारा खुद का जो वैक्सीन बनाया है यहाँ इतने लोगों को दिए हैं, उससे हार्ट अटैक या कुछ आएगा यही बात सुनाई दे रहा है, हम इतने लोगों को वैक्सीन देते हैं। दैट्स एक्चुअली द काइंड ऑफ थिंग व्हिच यू आर। आई एम नॉट cynical, आई एम नॉट critical, आई एम practical actually. So we need to assess where to stand, what we need to do. That's why Global Innovation Index. Actually, I'll get back to this thing. I said in the morning when one of our young friend was presenting on TFP, total factor productivity in agriculture sector. I said you can increase your output by increasing the input or by increasing the technology. Now, परीक्षा रे मार्क भला से अपन केम दिया, आइदर भलो पढ़िबो नले टेक्निकली टेक्निक नेगरी पढ़िबो। आमे के केमदा करथिलु एक्चुअली जेतले +3 पढ़थिलु हमरा यूनिट सिस्टम थिला, 5टा यूनिट रु 5टा क्वेश्चन एमिदिया कॉम्बिनेशन नेगरी पढ़िबु जेमिदा सेही 5टा ही आसीबो। एई अल्प दिन पूर्व मो पुओ परीक्षा दउथिला एक्चुअली, से मो पुओ गोटे कोन गोटे परीक्षा थिला, बोले बाबा कौन करछ परीक्षा छि पढ़ुन, बोले बाबा मो प्रोबेबिलिटी काढुछि। म कहली कोन, मो प्रोबेबिलिटी काढुछि काली जो मुंडली मारी, मुंडली आजकल बेसी मुंडली मारा परीक्षा कभी परीक्षा माने क्वेश्चन देइथबो माने औरंगजेब रो बाप ना कोन तले लिखा थो अकबर जहांगीर या बाबर एमिदिया, ता भितर 4टा भितर कोडाटा मुंडली मारती। इवन इफ यू डोंट नो द आंसर, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ करेक्टिंग द आंसर इज 1/4। किंतु जदि पचरा जी औरंगजेब रो बाप काण किए नांडी न जानि लिख परिबोनी। मो पो कोन करछि से तार प्रोबेबिलिटी काढुछि। कौन प्रोबेबिलिटी काढ बाबा मु काढुछि बाबा काली को आंसरटा मारिले 1 2 3 4 भितर आंसर ठीक हबार चांसेस बेसी। देन ही केम आउट एक्चुअली इन द इवनिंग, बाबा केमिस्ट्री रे सीटा रे बेसी प्रोबेबिलिटी, फिजिक्स रे एटा, मैथ रे एटा, एंड ही डिड दैट यू नो। तो एक्चुअली मझे मझे मन पकई दो आई एम इन द सेशन। सो सी if you want to increase the output, let's say परीक्षा रे मार्क आने पाए भल करी से पढ़ी था ना नुआ टेक्नोलोजी गोटे डेभलप कला जे जदि सीटा मारी केमिस्ट्री रे अधिका मिले, बीटा मारी फिजिक्स रे अधिका मिले, दैट्स टेक्नोलोजी यू नो। फॉर टेक्नोलॉजी यू हैव टू बी इनोवेटिव, but our rank in the global innovation index is 39th among a few countries actually. Of course that still is doubtful. आम कौन एक्चुअली मोर गोटे स्वीडेन फ्रेंड थिला, से कह तुम इंडियन माने जीरो इन्वेंट कर माने आर्यभट्ट जीरोटा इन्वेंट करथिले ना, से जीरोटा को से साटारिकली मत कह इंडियंस हैव इन्वेंटेड जीरोस माने जीरो माने से ता कहे था जीरो माने सुनो किछि इन्वेंट करेना। मु कहे ना आर्यभट्ट जीरो करछि ये करछि बोल से तुम कह डानिश फ्रेंड थे। तो आई डोंट नो एक्चुअली, बट if you want to increase our output, because as a student of economics you know the resources are limited in supply, though they do have alternative usages. One way, the best way and the sustainable way to increase the output is through technology. is through technology. Unfortunately, we are ranked very full, 39th. वो भी मेरा डाउट में है, सच में मैं तो दिया है. Then per capita or no consumption expenditure. Per capita consumption expenditure. माने गोटे दिन रे गोटे मास रे जड़े एवरेज भारतीय केते टका खर्च करुची केता खाइबा पीबा रूरल एरिया रे 4122 टका दिस एक्चुअली नीति आयोग डाटा एंड अर्बन इंडिया रे 6996 टका approximately $2.71 at the rate 86 rupees per dollar in urban area and $1.6 per day in the rural area at the rate actually $1 to 86 rupees. The irony is the globe or the world considers, on the top you can see, the international extreme poverty is realized if a person's daily expenditure is less than $2.15. $2.15 is roughly 200 rupees. So if we take, of course, averages and statistics hide more than what to the reveal. I'm not saying that everybody is here in extreme poverty, but if I believe these facts that on an average one individual in India, in the rural India spends $1.6 and in urban area it spends $2.71, then almost and most of our people live in the rural area and the standard is $2.15 for day to spend to be above the extreme poverty line, then most of our people are under extreme poverty line. Let's accept this fact. You may try to hide this fact by coming out with new terminology, new jargons, multi-dimensional. Bhai roti kapda pehle khana khalo bhai. Seats those who have lived with an empty stomach, they know the difficulties or the stress or the anxiety or the pain of hunger. Please, let's come to the other side. This is what actually pure economics. Development aspect, SDI हमारा जो है, our rank is some 134 in out of 193 countries. Then Gini coefficient, which is a measure of inequality. That's why I said, if I go by the averages, probably all individuals in the rural areas are in absolute or extreme poverty, which is not a case. But then, what is that? You look at the inequality. We have extreme inequality. One actually, which is 0.410, it was in 2023. But fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know how I'll interpret this one. The same Gini coefficient in 1955, 70 years back, actually it was 0.371. We were at a low equilibrium trap, low income trap with less inequality. When we have grown, because definitely we have grown from or the per capita income what we had in 1955 was definitely less than the per capita income what we have in 2023. With higher income, we have augmented inequality. I'm not saying that 55 was a better situation, but definitely with respect to inequality, 55 was a better situation. I would never prefer to go back to 55, but fact is a fact. And most horrifying fact is, this Gini coefficient was to 0.506. That means inequality into 2021, when the whole world was hit with this COVID. Inequality was more. What actually I will infer out of this? Our economy doesn't have that kind of resilience or that kind of support system which can support our masses or people those are deprived during any kind of catastrophic, whether of course some people say that's a man-made catastrophic, or even if it is a natural catastrophic, natural disaster, we are not equipped to cope up with that situation. That will definitely, people those who are vulnerable becomes more vulnerable, they are hit more than people those who are not. So that's why inequality during any kind of calamities or catastrophe is more. So that's a lesson we need to understand. That's a lesson we need to accept. Innovation, we are 39th rank. and inequality is more when we are hit with some adverse situations. So we need to look into that. Then rural urban, of course, in rural area inequalities is more. Yesterday I was talking with my elder brother, Umesh Bhai. We're discussing something about this MG Narega. I'm not against MG Narega, but when I was given a study to do a study on MG Narega and migration, of course, a couple of my team members are smiling. I told the secretary, MG Narega has created a bunch of rural elites. The money is siphoned by a group of people, those who have unholy nexus with the administrations and with the so-called politicians. It's a fact. It has created a bunch of rural elite. वो पैसा उन्हीं के पास ही जा रहा है. That's why it has actually aggravated. I'm not saying it's only the MG Narega. Lot of government programs which are misdirected, ill-directed, has helped some people, and by virtue of this, it has created a bunch or a group of rural elite. So we need to look at that. Then global hunger, for which actually we are hunted by the whole globe. Global hunger index. Our score is 20 out of 100, actually 27. Imagine. The index का जो optimum scale था 1 to 100 में, हमारा score 27.3. It's in a rough scale. If I say, it says that only 27% roughly. 27 of people are able to annihilate or satiate their hunger. Isn't it the same for a country which claims to be the global leader? And rank is 105th. We are actually our neighbors in global hunger index, you know who are? Ethiopia, Namibia, Uganda is better than us actually. Botswana is better than us. Just imagine. Then comes actually the policy thing which Sahu sir सुबह बोल रहे थे. Good governance index. हमारा रैंक 49th में. हमारा रैंक 49, स्कोर 0.516. मतलब कितना ये जो डाटा दिया गया है, this good governance index, which is a measure of how effective your institutions are in delivering the public services to the people. Our rank is some 49th out of some 80 odd countries. They are also poor. And most importantly, perception of corruption. Corruption का perception में हमारा rank 96, score 38. It's all dismal. Then I thought, probably if I consider national income or GDP as an indicator of the well-being of the people, because that is being challenged, the person who challenged was, the past person who challenged was the person from Bhutan. Bhutan का king जो economics का कुछ student थे, वो पहले बोले ना, वो I don't believe in this GDP figure. मेरे पर्स में पैसा हो या नहीं हो, मेरे लोग खुश से मतलब I'll consider my country is good. Then I thought to see what about the happiness, even if actually अगर पैसा नहीं है भी कुछ लोग बोलते हैं जो बुद्धिस्ट monk होते, sorry I don't have any religious this thing, but some monks think that okay बिना पैसा, हम तो इकोनॉमिक्स का बंदे क्या मानते हैं भाई, पैसा तो खुदा नहीं, लेकिन कसम खुदा की खुदा से कम भी नहीं, है ना. एट द एंड आप जो भी बोलो, मनी इज ब्राइटर देन सनी एंड डेफिनेटली स्वीटर देन हनी. आप जैसे हम इकोनॉमिक्स का बंदे इसे मानते हैं, लेकिन कुछ बंदे अपने आप को तसल्ली देने के लिए बोलते हैं नहीं पैसा तो सब कुछ नहीं है, खुशी जिंदगी का खुशी हैप्पीनेस वो ऊपर वाला आ नहीं रही क्या बेटा, अरे उसका डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हैप्पीनेस था. मैंने देखा किस में हैप्पी है लोग. Then we did a study, what you call a cross-section studies for 102 countries for last 30 years. Their gross happiness index calculate करके. All sample countries. इसमें ज़्यादा मत चाहिए, जिसको नहीं आता इकोनोमेट्रिक्स नहीं, सिंपल सा स्टोरी क्या है. लो एंड लोअर मिडिल इनकम कंट्री जैसे हमारा कंट्री में देखिए इनइक्वालिटी बढ़ने से हैप्पीनेस कम होता है। इनइक्वालिटी बढ़ने से हैप्पीनेस कम होता है, लोग कम खुश होते हैं। मतलब अगर किसी के पास ज़्यादा पैसा मिल गया है ना, हमारे इकोनॉमिक्स में आपने पढ़े होंगे ना जो रिलेटिव इनकम हाइपोथेसिस, डसनबेरी का है ना, डसनबेरी का रिलेटिव डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन इफेक्ट। मुझे पैसा मिले या ना मिले, दूसरों को ना मिले, है ना, तो वही है। विथ ड्यू रेस्पेक्ट, बुरा मत मानो, मैं एक्चुअली थोड़ा बहुत ओडिया रे आउटे माने स्वामी चली जाऊ पछे मो सौतुणी विधवा जो हमर उठा है सेम तो से इनइक्वालिटी जदि का पाको टिका अधिका पड़ेला वी आर अनहैप्पी इन आवर डेवलपमेंट। एंड मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंटली एक्चुअली यू लुक एट दिस कंट्रोल ऑफ सीसी मीन्स कंट्रोल ऑफ करप्शन कंट्रोल हो गले प्लीज it a very statist it's an estimation which I did, and yesterday only I called my student to send this result। corruption टा जदि कंट्रोल हो जो सीसी माने रेगुलेशन टा नेगेटिव माने हैप्पीनेस टा कमी जी हम करप्शन कंट्रोल हेले आमे कम खुशी काहे कि मु करप्शन करी कि मु यूनिवर्सिटी रे प्रोफेसर तथापि मोर राशन कार्ड अछि काहे ना करप्शन रे करप्शन टा बंद हो मो राशन कार्ड कटिगला खुशी हेबे। दैट्स अ फैक्ट, दैट्स कॉल्ड ग्रीजिंग द व्हील्स। माने चक चालुनी तो टे ग्रीस मार देले चक चलिबो। फाइल हमर अटकी रहिछि सेक्रेटरीट रे शेषदेव सर ठिकार अटकी रहिछि ना चित्रसेन कोन अटकी रहिछि फाइल एजुकेशन सेक्रेटरी पाखरे गले वृषभमणि किछि चढ़ैले शिव खुशी है ना। That's actually the thing, actually it's running the corruption index, control to corruption, corruption control है गले in a developing countries or underdeveloped countries like ours. Actually, happiness is less. Whereas for the developed country, this sign is high and operating municipal. If the corruption is controlled, people are more happy. तो I'm not saying कि हमारा फितरत में है कि हम कर चोर बने, ऐसा नहीं, हम नहीं बोल रहे हैं। But the call of the day is, please be honest to yourself and stand up for yourself, not only for yourself, stand up for the society. Keep your fist ready to face any eventualities which is required to take your country, take your nations forward. It's, if I say that I get certain benefits, that's why I should keep quiet, that's not done actually. Friends, you being the young generation, future generation of this country, please stand up for yourself, stand up for the nation, stand up for the states. Let's what are the thoughts. Actually, I don't have policy suggestions like क्या तो सर का जो था सर का policy next slide मैं I don't policy देना इकोनॉमिक्स में मैं और एक भी सजेशन बोलता हूँ suggestions and advices are the drugs where supply exceeds demand है ना। हर कोई आ जाता है थोड़ा बहुत एक दो स्टडी करके सजेशन ही देते लगते हैं, भाई खुद जब उसी सीट में रहते हैं कुछ कर नहीं पाते। इसीलिए I have mentioned actually some thoughts, it's not suggestions, thoughts. If you want to actually somebody presented in the morning, if you want development, definitely you require growth. What I said actually, पैसा तो खुदा नहीं, कसम खुदा की खुदा से कम नहीं. For that you need a 2-digit or near 2-digit growth rate. Of course सर नहीं है जो उमा शंकर सर दास सर नहीं है, वो जो फॉर्मूला बता रहे थे T is equal to 72 by G. Though I don't believe in that formula, but still higher the growth rate. अगर आपके जेब में पैसा है तो दिमाग में आइडिया आता है भाई, ये सिंपल बात है ना। खाली पेट खाली इसमें उतना नहीं है, जो जेब में पैसा हो तो नहले अंटारे नथिबो धन गेले करिया को मन भाई खत्म है ना। दैट्स एक्चुअली रिक्वायर अ ग्रोथ रेट व्हिच इज ऑफ 2 digits. ये ग्रोथ रेट सिंपल नहीं है because resources are limited. There is growth rate that can be achieved, higher growth rate that can be achieved through innovation. Innovation is the only answer actually. आप resources नहीं बढ़ा सकते हैं, resources are limited. Innovations would promote innovation, but unfortunately innovation जो research इसमें होता है, research को उतना हम encourage नहीं करते हैं। हालांकि थोड़ा बहुत कुछ scholarship देते हैं, क्या मुख्यमंत्री रिसर्च प्रोग्राम क्या है चित्र सर, कुछ होता है ना, कुछ फंडिंग वगैरह देते हैं है ना, कुछ कुछ स्कॉलरशिप देते हैं, बट हमारा उड़ीसा गवर्नमेंट में भी था, कुछ कुछ देते थे इनोवेशन। बट दैट अगर आप बादाम फेंकोगी तो क्या आएगा? बंदर आएगा। घोस फेंकोगी तो शेर आएगा, है ना? इफ यू एनकरेज रिसर्च, यू पंप मोर मनी इनटू रिसर्च। एक्चुअली वी हैव इन इकोनॉमिक्स अनदर कॉन्सेप्ट कॉल्ड पंप प्राइम। आप जितना दोगी, हमारा इसमें भी है, किसमें ना, हमारा जो वेदांत में भी है कि जैसे करनी ऐसे भरनी, जैसे बोओगी ऐसे ही दाओगी। आप अगर रिसर्चर को क्या है ना, मुंह खोली जैसे पैसा दोगे, रिसर्च के लिए इतना दोगी तो ऐसे ही आउटपुट आएगा। देन दैट्स व्हाट एक्चुअली वी कैन वी पंप मोर मनी इनटू द रिसर्च। That's because that's the only answer here. No way you can increase your total factor productivity without innovations and without better technology. But for that, institutions and governance is required. Better governance, somebody would say, better governance. Do I have the guts to divert the fund towards innovation and research from populist program? That's actually the question. As the governance, as the rule of the law, actually I need to see if I'm taking a decision, do I have that guts? मुझे इलेक्शन का टाइम आया, पॉपुलर प्रोग्राम ही चलाना है भाई, जितना है नेक्स्ट है वो गवर्नेंस। मेरा साहस है कि बजट में मैं बोल दूंगा कि ये रिसर्च के लिए इतना फंड दूंगा। That's actually the process. That's actually I said some thoughts. Institutions and innovation. Institutions, what is institution? Somebody say was presenting in the morning actually institution. What is institution, friends? Institution is not a building. It's a set of rules and regulations. Those are meant to achieve a desired goal with mutual or consultations with all stakeholders. And I got a set of, say, rules and regulations should be designed to facilitate the work, not to harass somebody. बट हमारा ये क्या, मैं आज बस हूँ, कल ये चलता है ना? तो वी नीड टू एंड डेफिनेटली रिमेंबर एक्चुअली आई वाज टॉकिंग द एनवायरनमेंट एंड क्लाइमेट. वी नीड टू लुक इनटू द क्लाइमेट एंड एनवायरनमेंट. कैन वी पंप more money onto that? And can we adopt, adjust and advance by accounting for environment and climate? That's okay. But all these are interrelated. With this, you can reduce inequality by reallocating resources. But you can reallocate resources. मुझसे ज़्यादा टैक्स लेके इसको दे सकते हो जब मेरा इनकम ज़्यादा होगा। अगर मैं खुद गरीब हूँ तो उनको कैसे दूँगा? So that's why we require growth. With this growth, you can redistribute the income, and redistribution of income can reduce inequality. But within that, actually, we need to give account for our institutions or institutional regulations, governance, how do they account for the environment and climate, and how do they promote innovations. Thank you. I expect actually questions, but the questions are guaranteed, answers are not definitely. मुझे भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, आंसर दे सकते हैं सर, नहीं दे, सर चेयर है। So I'm through actually. It's any question, or do I have to take questions now? After the talk. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your energetic and wonderful provoking address. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Pati sir to share his thoughts with us. Sir, may I kindly request you to take the stage. Sir, to introduce our next guest, Pati sir.
Thank you so much. It is a great honor to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Pati sir. an accomplished academician, researcher, and administrator. Dr. Pati is currently serving as the head of the School of Economics and Deputy Registrar at Gangadhar Meher University, Sambalpur. A proud alumnus of the School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Dr. Pati holds a PhD in Corporate Finance from Sambalpur University. His research expertise lies in the field of behavioral economics and econometrics, shaping both theoretical advancement and practical application in those domains. Dr. Pati's academic credentials are further strengthened by an MBA in Financial Management, and he was awarded the first gold medal in DCA by the Odisha State Open University. With over 25 years of teaching experience and more than a decade of administrative leadership, Dr. Pati has made significant contribution to higher education. He has successfully supervised 3 PhD scholars, with 4 more currently working under his guidance, and mentored 11 MPhil scholars. His research output includes over 30 publications in reputed national and international journals and books, along with 2 authored books on behavioral economics. Beyond academia, Dr. Pati has completed 2 research projects on behavioral economics, highlighting his commitment to impactful research. He is also actively involved in academic governance, serving as a member of Doctoral Advisory Committee at Sambalpur University and the local board of administrators of the Sainik School, Sambalpur. A dynamic speaker, Dr. Pati has participated in over 50 seminars and academic programs and continues to inspire the students through his teaching in behavioral economics, econometrics, and research methodology at UG, PG, and pre-PhD levels. It is truly a privilege to have him with us today. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Umacharan Pati sir.
Thank you. I must thank Madam Professor Nath, the Vice Chancellor of this university, and also Chitra. Chitra is not my direct student, but student-like, because his friends are my students. Thank you very much, and the nice presentation by my previous speaker, Dr. Sahu. If you allow me, then I want to go down and speak, because that will be convenient for me. Hello. Yes, the title of my talk is what we have to what we can. And Viksit Bharat, Odisha. Now, if you look at the statement, what we have, what we can. If I refer my title to what Dr. Sahu said in his back, we say that if there are 6 economies, 7 opinions. He said, पैसा से बड़ा कुछ नहीं है, पैसा होगा तो ऐसा कुछ. It's good to know. Professor Das also told in the morning that money is necessary but not sufficient. I have found believer in that approach. Therefore, what I have written, the title is what we have. We have to migrate from what I have or we have to what we can. So when I say what we can, it comes from the capability, the freedom. the choices they will make or the decision they make at a particular moment and particular issue. If we want to develop India, help develop India, Viksit Bharat, then what is necessary is to work on the capability of our people. Not only what we have so many feelings. Just tell me one thing. So I could be compatible. एक कोई बात मुझे दिखा रही है उसका कोई और समझ नहीं जीवन यही का ही लोग हमारे झगड़ा है कि हस्बैंड वाइफ लाइक कोई डेयर है डिवोर्स फाइल कैन यू प्रोड्यूस पीस नो देयर आर सो मेनी एग्जांपल्स सो मनी इज नेसेसरी बट नॉट अ सफिशिएंट नाउ द सेकंड पार्ट is see, there are written so many books, the most famous one you know. There is another book, Freedom is not free, small book, very beautiful book, students must read there. Freedom is not free. The tagline of that book, on the very front page we find, this is a statement written. If we are not a part of the solution, then we are the problem. Make it trouble and intensity. If we are not a part of the solution, then we are the problem. पानी आंसू नहीं भाई सांसद बुझी सोलर से वाला कलेक्टर बुझी सोलर से बिलो नहीं गवर्नमेंट बुझी को last 80 years of the freedom what we have been doing we pass on all the problems to the people who are in charge of us parents are nobody district administration college principal high बंधु कुटुंब कहाँ कहाँ सारी क्वेश्चन लगा for the thing is that what we are doing what we have done निजो पाई निजो सोसाइटी पाई हम कौन करूँ right that defines the capability part now the question arises when a Viksit Bharat this statement is made for whom I have crossed 50 years now so many people are here they are 45 50 40 आमा पाके समय अच्छी है Viksit Bharat करिया पर 2047 आपको दे दिया 32 years आमा तो रिटायर है कि बुरा है 22 years काले Viksit Bharat के कोई हम तो नहीं तो बहुत सारा पहले के स्मार्टफोन सारा पहले के बताऊं तुम क्या करोगे आमा पाके तो 25% समय नहीं वही बोलती क्या करोगे यू की जनरेशन की जो माने कोडियर 35 वर्ष भीतर आएगा कि कॉलेजेस एंड यूनिवर्सिटी जाते you people have to shoulder the responsibility आपको जाएगी तो विकसित भारत होगा तो मैं माने सही भेज देती हूँ तो you have to participate and build the economy so it is for the youth mass the youth of India तुमको कोई बात नहीं so what is expected from the youth now I base this statement on the assumption that Viksit Bharat is possible I take a positive view why I take this positive view that I will explain Viksit Bharat in 23 years is possible, but there are certain conditions. The way we are moving, the way we are behaving, mark my words, behaving, the way we are behaving, it is not possible to achieve in 2070, even in 2070. But if we change ourselves, if we change public character, if we change the methods, if we change our policies, then it is possible to achieve Viksit Bharat by 2047 and for that matter, Viksit Odisha in 2036 is possible. Right? Now, some leader economics now. The statement that I gave, it is for the capability. Where does this particular concept is available in economic theories? If we take an evolutionary perspective, we started with utilitarianism. Utility analysis, where some economics you know, right? Who are the people? So देखा जाए नहीं पास ना, उसका utilitarianism, Adam Smith, Bentham, J. Smith. कौन था का philosophical utility analysis है? Pain and pleasure, pain and pleasure. That means maximization of utility or maximization of pleasure. That means more pleasure, less pain. If the pleasures are more, then the available pain. Then the person is having the welfare or is increasing utility. Right? So utility analysis is based on purely pleasure kind of a thing, pain kind of thing. Then we migrated to what? The neoclassical regime, neoclassical economics, like Marshall, Jevons, Mangers, Walrus. Now, what was the basic philosophy of these people? The basic fallacy they made, कौन एजम्पशन से मैंने नहीं थी इकोनॉमिक्स से कौन एजम्पशन तुम सार मैंने मैडम मैंने फास्ट पढ़ाती रेशनैलिटी नहीं इकोनॉमिक मैन ऑल इंडिविजुअल्स आर रेशनल राइट सेल्फ मैक्सिमाइजेशन सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट मैक्सिमाइजेशन तो वंस वी से दैट ऑल इंडिविजुअल्स आर रेशनल ना यू टेल मी एठी मु जाउथबे रास्ता मते बिलेई छेकी की पळेला मु फेरी आसिली आ मो इंटरव्यू को गोली नाही एम आई रेशनल काली सकाले परीक्षा आज आज जाकि मंदिर बहुत जोरे 4-5टा कौन से नड़िया बाड़े कि सिंदूर लगे गली परीक्षार भल है ना मु रेशनल नो वे एमती हजार हजार एग्जांपल अच्छी दैट मीन्स द very first assumption on which the neoclassical theory is based, rationality is a false statement, a false assumption, 100% false assumption. Human beings are not at all rational. Then the immediate question is, can you say that we individuals, we people are irrational? Irrational का आगे कहूँ हमें पशु मान को कहूँ जब निजर ओन बुद्धि नहीं था, ओन रिएक्शंस नहीं था, ओन डिसीजन मेकिंग नहीं था, ओन चॉइसेस नहीं था आमर तो अच्छे दैट मीन्स आमे परफेक्टली इरेशनल भी नहूँ ताहले आमे केंदे करी कैटेगराइज करमा निज के हार्बर्ट साइमन कहले 1955 रे वी आर बाउंडेडली रेशनल दैट इज कॉल्ड बाउंडेड रेशनैलिटी बाउंडेडली रेशनल दैट मीन्स आमे 100% रेशनल नहूँ 100% इरेशनल नहूँ बाउंडेडली रेशनल हूँ क्या बाउंडेड किए बाउंड कर रेशनैलिटी के आम रेशनैलिटी के बाउंड करिछे इनफॉरमेशन आम रेशनैलिटी के बाउंड करिछे ट्रेडिशंस कल्चर आवर ओन डगमेटिक एटीट्यूड सुपरस्टिशंस आवर ओन बिहेवियरल क्वालिटीज ये सब जिनस आमर बेड़ी बांधी आम गोड़े सो आवर रेशनैलिटी इज बाउंडेड बाय ऑल दीज कंडीशंस एंड सब कंडीशंस राइट तो जेन एजम्पशन निया नियो क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिक्स रे 100% फॉल्स राइट तार अर्थ काना जदि ह्यूमन बीइंग बाउंडेडली रेशनल तार अर्थ केन ऊपर डिपेंड आम कर आमर ओन चॉइसेस ऊपर चॉइसटा इंपोर्टेंट है नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट वन देन केम द कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच मो पाखे 30 मिनिट्स अच्छे दैट्स व्हाई आई एम रशिंग आई कम टू द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट पॉइंट लेटर ऑन कैपेबिलिटी अप्रोच सार भी कहते आगु स्पीकर भी कहते अमर्त्य सेन कथा कहते बाकी से टाइम जो राइटर्स गुड़ाक आसते अथर्स गुड़ाक आसते जो कथा फास्ट आरंभ कह व्हाट आई हैव टू व्हाट आई कैन कैपेबिलिटी द कैपेबिलिटी टू मेक ए राइट चॉइस द कैपेबिलिटी टू टेक ए राइट डिसीजन दैट विल डिफाइन वेयर आई गो व्हाट आई कैन डू वेयर व्हाट आई कैन कंट्रीब्यूट टू द सोसाइटी राइट अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट में पढ़ीचु मुझे ये आसी न था अलग कौन जो घरे शोई था संडे बोलिकी मुझे कंट्रीब्यूट आज करी 2-3% कही न था सो दैट डिसीजन ऑफ कमिंग टू मानिकेश्वरी यूनिवर्सिटी ट्रैवलिंग 250 किलोमीटर्स ऑन ए संडे इज ए राइट डिसीजन फार मोर राइट डिसीजन देन टेकिंग अ डिसीजन नॉट टू कम राइट तो डिसीजन मैटर्स नियो क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिक्स काना कहले स्टेबल प्रिफरेंस पैटर्न इंडिफरेंस मोर पढ़ी जाओ तुम्हें इंडिफरेंस कर्व तार एजम्पशन काना स्टेबल प्रिफरेंस पैटर्न गिवन द बजेट लाइन इंडिफरेंस कर्व दिया है एट ए वन पॉइंट देयर इज इक्विलिब्रियम स्टेबल प्रिफरेंस केंदे कि आम तो सब बेले डिसीजन चेंज करूँ मुझे इंटरव्यू जाऊँ जो बिले काटला मुझे डिसीजन चेंज करदेली मुझे घर बाहर की जाऊँ कि पछड़ डाकीदेला मुझे डिसीजन चेंज करदेली अशुभ हो गला आमको राइट सो बिकॉज ऑफ द बिहेवियरल फैक्टर्स कल्चरल एट्रीब्यूट्स and some circumstantial factors we change our decision तो आमर प्रिफरेंस पैटर्न चॉइसेस सब अनस्टेबल थी राइट सो आमको कैपेबिलिटी दरकार तो कैपेबिलिटी केंदे के डिफाइन करमा दुईटा अप्रोच अच्छे अमर्त्य सेन अप्रोच अच्छे मार्था नसबम का अप्रोच अच्छे प्रैक्टिकली आम जो एनालाइज करवा के चाहमा प्रैक्टिकली आम जो टेस्ट करवा आई हैव गिवन सम डाटा आम कर काम जीएम रे आम प्रैक्टिकली कैपेबिलिटी मेजरमेंट करमा then the NASBAM method is better than the SENS method, right, for practical application. Then the behavioral factor जो मुझे कहली या द्वारा आ गोटे जिनस अच्छी कौन द थ्योरी ऑफ आइडेंटिटी मु किए
I take decisions not on the basis of what I am thinking, not on the basis of what I know, not on the basis of what I can do. Most of the decisions what we take, नहीं से मत हसवा के ठिया भाषण देले मुझे इंग्लीश कही ना जाने से मोर सांग मैंने मत खराब कथा कहे क्या गध बोली भावे क्या राइट मुझे जब आजिकल पिला काने पिंधि जाऊन पिन्धुन झील मैंने पिंधुन पिला काने पिंधुन पिंधि पार्बा जन क्या असुविधा अच्छे जो जन भाव काने पिंधि तो मत मो सांग मैंने कि सोसाइटी हसबे तार अर्थ क्या मत भल लगुच पिंधार लगे कि से हसवा बोली मुझे नहीं पिने दैट इज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ आइडेंटिटी दैट इज आइडेंटिटी केन पिला के टाटू करवा लगुच करू किसी असुविधा नहीं नो दैट इज हिज फ्रीडम गुटे जन्म भगवान देइछन तुमको इच्छा लगुच करवा कि डू दैट जे तुमको भल लगुच राइट सो द थिंग इज दैट behavioral economics says that identity of an individual is a most important conditioning factor. Without identity you cannot think of welfare. जदि आमर आइडेंटिटी आमर फ्रीडम आमर चॉइसेस मोर डिसीजन में अन्य मान ऊपर थोप करी करमी से काना कहवा से ऊपर मोर डिसीजन में नेमी देन आई एम डूइंग रॉन्ग टू माई सेल्फ फर्स्ट वेलफेयर मोर कंबा ही करवा मणिक जेनता कहते मैडम स्टार्ट कर दिया टॉक रे निवेदिता मैडम जे देश केतले डेवलप करवा सोसाइटी डेवलप कले स्टेट डेवलप कले स्टेट केतले डेवलप करवा मनीष डेवलप कले जे आमे देश को बॉटम अप अप्रोच आमे डेवलप कले कंट्री डेवलप करवा विकसित भारत करवा फर्स्ट विकसित इंडिविजुअल करवा पड़वा एंड विकसित इंडिविजुअल इज प्योरली बेस्ड ऑन द बिहेवियर एंड बिहेवियरल एट्रीब्यूट्स दैट वी होल्ड दैट इज नेसेसरी राइट तो जदि तांकर छुआटा मेडिकल पढ़ुचे मुई क्या इनफ्लुएंस मोर छुआ जब मैथमेटिक्स नहीं जाने मुझे मेडिकल पढ़ामी ना पे एंट्रांस रे सुसाइड करुछन जाके पिला माने कोटारे दायी किए कहीं दायी नुहन आमर से बिहेवियरल फैक्टर ही दायी है बिहेवियरल एटीट्यूड ही दायी है जे आमे तांको देखिक मोर डिसीजन में नेले दैट इज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ आइडेंटिटी राइट कास्ट फैक्टर प्योरली आइडेंटिटी इशू कान आइडेंटिटी इशू कास्ट फैक्टर अच्छे suppose somebody says that you are not allowed to enter a temple who are you have not created everything so if I am an individual you are an individual we are on the same plane so if one group says that you are untouchable they have no business to do that so identity is important तो समस्ते एटा मन रखवा कथा जे आमर बिहेवियर आमर डिसीजन आमर आइडेंटिटी द सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ ताके मोर विषय में काना भावुचे तो मोर डिसीजन में मोर हिसाब नेवा कथा दैट इज बेसिकली नेसेसरी फॉर ए विकसित इंडिविजुअल एंड विकसित भारत राइट देन वन मोर थिंग दैट आई हैव रिटन एट द बॉटम लिबर्टेरियन पैटर्नलिज्म प्योर इकोनॉमिक थ्योरी लिबर्टेरियन पैटर्नलिज्म ताहले आमे फ्रीडम केते दमा जदि आमे पिला माने कांदरे पिनबे टाटू करबे आ भी किछि भी करि पारबे ना फ्रीडम ना रे इज इट अलाउड फ्रीडम ना रे सब करबा कथा के नहीं करि पारू केते दिन केते दूर तक करि पारमा लिबर्टी इज अलाउड अप टू दैट पॉइंट वेयर द सोसाइटी और द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द सोसाइटी इज नॉट हैम्पर्ड तार किसी ना किसी कंट्रोल हमको मैकेनिज्म रखवा के पड़वा राइट तो से कंट्रोल हम डिफाइन कर वी हैव नॉट डिफाइंड सो फार नॉट डिफाइंड हेतिले लोक मैंने अनेक प्रकार कथा कहून किए कहला ना इटा आम पिंधि नहीं दूँ किए कहला आम सेटा कर नहीं दूँ किए कहला ना आम गोलाप फूल दे नहीं दूँ डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ एटीट्यूड लोक मान वी डोंट हैव ए स्टैंडर्ड नॉर्म so we have to draw that line that is called libertarian paternalism तो जदि सो फ्रीडम नहीं रहवा हमर कैपेबिलिटी आवा केनु जदि मोर कैपेबिलिटी नहीं मोर फंक्शनिंग केनु आवा जो मोर फंक्शनिंग नहीं ना मुझे कंट्रीब्यूट करमी केंदा करी मुझे कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं करमी हाउ डू आई एक्सपेक्ट द कंट्री टू डेवलप नो वे नेक्स्ट item so this is the measurement of capability. How do we measure capability? In the same approach you cannot measure capability. It is the Nussbaum approach that you can measure capability. There are 10 basic criteria through which or 10 subfields are there through which you can measure capability. खाली मैं 3-4 पढ़ी दो then आपण माने कहबे जे actually capability important है कि नुहे. First one life. पहला इंदा मैं कहली मनी नहीं कि लाइफ किना जे पारबा के दीर्घायु ही पारमा के no way then bodily integrity emotion practical reason and control over the environment सार बोध environmental economics रो लोक भी कंट्रोल ओवर द एनवायरनमेंट जदि क्लाइमेट चेंज होची जदि 1 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड आम बढ़ी सारान क्लाइमेट आज दिन में मार्च मस 41 डिग्री आम टच कलान रेस्पॉन्सिबल किए आम काना कहमा गवर्नमेंट ये नहीं कला यूएन किसी फोर्स नहीं पकाला अमेरिका फ्रांस आमर एकॉर्ड बाहरी आला डेवलप कंट्री माने किसी नहीं करवा डेवलपिंग कंट्री ऊपर दोष देदेले पहला कथा हो पॉल्यूशन क्रिएट करुची किए ह्यूमन बीइंग करुची आमे निजे करुछु so first we have to see ourselves the sense of self the person who I am and what I can contribute to the society right so this is how we can measure capability so therefore I said there is a complete turnaround in the in the economic theory रे पिला माने जेना पढु छ तुमे ताके रीओरिएंट करो theoretical postulates पूरा चेंज हो सालानो now we have moved away from the rationality assumption to bounded rationality as I said then one of the most important thing is about the cognitive biases आ गोटे मेन प्रॉब्लम अच्छे आमर जन्मर किसी बायसेस थे आमर ब्रेन रे समस्त अच्छी जी भी जहाँ आम पाठ पढ़ी था जी भी जेन पोजिशन रे था वी हैव सर्टेन बायसेस एंड दीज बायसेस आर नॉट रैंडम नुहे इटा नोन है नोन इन एडवांस आम जानी बायसेस राइट गोटे बायस अच्छे सेल्फ सर्विंग बायस काना कहसी मुझे परीक्षा बहुत भल कली क्रेडिट गोज टू मी बहुत पाठ पढ़ी राति 3 बजे तक पढ़ली हाड़ भांगी जाइए नाक चीज जाइए कान चीज जाइए पाठ पढ़ी जब परीक्षा फेल होली क्या दोष देसु भाग्य खराब थिला खराब कले भाग्यर दोष है भल कले निजर दायी दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ सर्विंग बायस प्रत्येक डिसीजन आम करसु सेल्फ सर्विंग बायस वर्क प्लेस फैमिली स्पेस ओन लाइफ taking decisions about some other people within our purview this is called self-serving bias confirmation bias समस्त ब्रेन रे अच्छी व्हाट इज कन्फर्मेशन बायस जेनटा आम जन्मरू शुणी आईचु से उपरे विश्वास करमा व्हाट इज दैट सबू गाँव आरंभ गोटे बरगछ थी बरगछ भूत थी प्रत्येक गाँव कहानी अच्छी केनसी भी विलेज जाओ तुम्हें शुणब नहीं गाँव से बरगछ जेन अच्छे तो बड़े भूत बाहर से रात नहीं जीव किए पूरा आम ब्रेन यहाँ छोट दिन पूरा देसन आमको छोट दिन जिन पूरा आमको जेन बिले काटबार कथा कहली छोट दिन पूरा आम माइंड रे दही खाई गले परीक्षा भल हेसी इटा भी पूरा माइंड रे पानी पीकर गले कहीं परीक्षा भल नहीं हुए कन्फर्मेशन बायस द फर्स्ट इनफॉरमेशन दैट कम्स टू अस वी टेक दैट एज द लास्ट इनफॉरमेशन कॉग्निटिव बायसेस इटा मी सब कहबार अर्थ है जे मुई जेन पहला टाइटल रे कहली जे व्हाट वी कैन डू फॉर द इंडिया टू बिकम ए डेवलप कंट्री फास्ट से यूथ माने ही करि पारबे और यूथ मान को इथरु पहला बार अच्छी निज के कंट्रोल करबार अच्छी ई आइडेंटिटी इश्यू बाहर अच्छे कैपेबिलिटी बाहर अच्छे माने कैपेबिलिटी डिप्राइवेशन बाहर अच्छे एंड यू हैव टू मेक योर सेल्फ कैपेबल एनफ टू एक्सप्रेस योर सेल्फ राइट देन द लास्ट वन इज कॉल्ड बाउंडेड सेल्फिशनेस इट्स कॉल्ड मैथोलॉजिकल इंडिविजुअलिज्म वेरी फेमस फाउंडेशनल बेसिस ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स ये पिला माने निहाती जानवा कथा मैथोलॉजिकल इंडिविजुअलिज्म ए फेमस इकोनॉमिक्स गिवन बाय वॉन हैक आम क्लास रे बहुत टीचर भूली जासन वॉन हैक विषय पढ़ाबार लगे गोटे जोड़े थ्योरी देइछन से किंतु टीचर्स माने भूली जासन वेरी ब्यूटीफुल थ्योरी मैथोलॉजिकल इंडिविजुअलिज्म से कौन कहूँ मैथोलॉजिकल इंडिविजुअलिज्म व्हाट इज इंपोर्टेंट सोसाइटी और इंडिविजुअल if you give priority to society individual get neglected if the priority is on individual society get neglected so what should be done it says the first point of reference should be the individual that followed by the society right next ita jo mane theoretical he gala okay so now I come to this part बेसी में डाटा नहीं कहे सर ऑलरेडी कही देछन डाटा विषय रे इस स्लाइड गोटे जिन देखें एस्टिमेट्स ऑफ ओवरऑल वेल्थ फॉर सिलेक्टेड कंट्रीज 10 कंट्रीज में देखें देखूँ आमर 3 प्रकार कैपिटल थी मोस्टली मैन मेड कैपिटल फिजिकल जेनटा कहूँ आम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है क्लासरूम है जहाँ है देखुँ आम देन नेचुरल कैपिटल राइट एयर वाटर फॉरेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट क्लाइमेट देन द ह्यूमन कैपिटल एजुकेशन नॉलेज ट्रेनिंग एक्सपीरियंस एक्सपर्टाइज एफिशिएंसी स्किल ह्यूमन कैपिटल वर्ल्ड बैंक रिपोर्ट डाटा देखुन मुई जेन कथा कहले प्योरली रिफ्लेक्ट हो नहीं इंडिया केस देखुन टोटाल परसेंटेज ऑफ वेल्थ ड्यू टू ह्यूमन कैपिटल आम टोटाल वेल्थ रो केते परसेंट ह्यूमन कैपिटल आसूचे 70% ओनली 7% फ्रॉम नेचुरल कैपिटल एंड ओनली 22% फ्रॉम मैन मेड कैपिटल राइट आज आला बेला आम नंदसा रास्ता कथा ही डिस्कसन चलता जे जदि 70% वेल्थ आम क्रिएट करूँ ह्यूमन कैपिटल रु बाकी कंट्री देखी दून किसी कंट्री 79% ह्यूमन कैपिटल आउच 70% ह्यूमन कैपिटल आउच 77%. If 70% of our wealth is generated with the help of human capital, have we given enough emphasis, priority to the social sector development in India? Again, I am not blaming anyone. अगर मैं कोई का ब्लेम करवा लाभ नहीं ना आम सोशल सेक्टर डेवलपमेंट से ही जोर कर चुका है जेन जोर एवं आम कहूँ जे आमको विकसित भारत करवार है विदिन 22 years जेन ह्यूमन कैपिटल आमको 70% कंट्रीब्यूशन दौचे वेल्थ के we have been neglecting that section of our population, that sector for the last 80 years. So what is necessary is to reorient the policies, reorient the priorities, reprioritize our objectives. Social sector के ध्यान देवा के पड़वा and that will bring capability. जदि education न दमा, जदि आम health care न देखमा, multi dimensional poverty जन कथा सार कहूतिले 43%. जब मैं ध्यान न दमा देन इट इज नेक्स्ट टू इम्पॉसिबल टू क्रिएट कैपेबिलिटी इन ह्यूमन बीइंग तो ये विकसित भारत आरंभ जो कहली पॉसिबल बट ई इफ्स एंड बट्स एंड कंडीशन लगी ये जिन यदि करें देन द टाइम हैज कम नेक्स्ट सो व्हाट इज द बॉटम लाइन देन जदि कैपेबिलिटी ही हमको आइडेंटिटी ही हमको से जगह के नेवा विकसित भारत के देन केन माने से करें द यूथ मान को एम्पावर करबार लगे व्हाट आर द थिंग्स रिक्वायर्ड नाउ इन द नेक्स्ट 20 to 23 years केन जिनस यूथ मान को एम्पावर करवा यू टेल मी यू आर द यंग पीपल केन जिनस हमको एम्पावर करवा व्हाट इज नेसेसरी फॉर यू स्किल टेक्नोलॉजी नॉलेज आम यदि आम चारि साइड देखमा 4 प्रकार लोक थीसन एजुकेशनली क्वालिफाइड क्वालिफिकेशन थिबा स्किल भी थिबा हाईली सक्सेसफुल क्वालिफिकेशन थिबा स्किल नहीं थिबा पीएचडी डिग्री धरथिबे माने स्क्रू टेबल लगे नहीं पारन बॉल टे भी चेंज करी नहीं पारन किछि स्किल नहीं थिबा जेन थिला कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बरन सो ह्यूज है इंडिया रे क्वालिफिकेशन जे पाठ पढ़ी दउछु किंतु स्किल नानो थर्ड कैटेगरी नो क्वालिफिकेशन स्किल अछि किंतु कमे खाउछन माने मिस्त्री ही आउछन साइकिल साजी दउछन फैन साजी दौन बिना एजुकेशन किसी पीएचडी डिग्री ना तांकर आर्न करि पारुछन मिस्त्री माने घर बने दौन बिना किसी पाठ पढ़ी फोर्थ कैटेगरी ना क्वालिफिकेशन अच्छे ना स्किल अच्छे जेन माने कि लेबर आन माइग्रेशन इश्यूरे तांकर लगे होचे और तांकर लगे जहाँ जहाँ प्रोग्राम आम कर फ्री बीस है एमजीएनआरई है रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स है अपग्रेड करवा आम करूँ दरकार करवा निहाती राइट सो नाउ यू टेल मी educational qualification sange if we want to empower the youth develop your capability and functioning what is necessary skill that's why the NEP says emphatically on and the skill component ठीक है क्वालिफिकेशन हो गला स्किल हो गला ठीक है मुझे हाईली क्वालिफाइड है स्किल्ड है बहुत ज्ञानी है गुणिया सब गोटे चेयर में बसी जाए तुम मोटे गोटे कम नहीं आसल जे सार मत कामटा कर दियो क्या है कि जहाँ पारी 3-4 पद गाली देकर भगाली दूँ गेट आउट मोर ऑफिस कहल टेल मी व्हाट वुड बी द रिजल्ट एम आई डूइंग जस्टिस टू यू एम आई डूइंग जस्टिस टू द सोसाइटी एम आई डूइंग जस्टिस टू माय ओन चेयर नो वे सार कहते करप्शन परसेप्शन इंडेक्स अच्छे मोर स्लाइड मुझे नहीं जाऊँ सार कही सारे जदि करप्शन परसेप्शन इंडेक्स रे एबे भी 21st सेंचुरी आवर पोजिशन इज 96 आउट ऑफ 124 चिंता करो केन जगह आम अच्छु तो ये यूथ माने जेन माने काल के तुम विकसित भारत सपना नहीं कि आज हल रु जीव काली सकाले गोटे ऑफिसर कि जब लेफ्ट राइट पैसा खाब करप्शन करब मिसबिहेव करब लोक मान ऑफिसेस रे मिसगाइड करब झगड़ा करब लोक संगे क्राइम करब देन कैन यू बिलीव दैट वी कैन हैव ए डेवलप्ड इंडिया इन 22 years नो वे केबे ना हुए आम जिते फैक्ट दूँ जिते फिगर दूँ जितकी पर कैपिटा इनकम कथा कहूँ जितकी भी ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ द इकोनॉमी कहूँ सब ठीक अच्छे इंडिया ग्रोथ रेट बहुत भल अच्छे आम डेप्ट जीडीपी पोजिशन बहुत बढ़िया अच्छे फिस्काल डेफिसिट पोजिशन बहुत बढ़िया अच्छे सब ठीक अच्छे ग्रो करवा भी इंडिया करवा कि पब्लिक कैरेक्टर चेंज नहीं होगा जो 28% गोटे पारालेल इकोनॉमी चलवा इंडिया करप्शन रो ब्लैक मनी रो देन केन इकोनॉमी डेवलप हो पार्बा 23 इयर्स रे 70 इयर्स भी नहीं हुए राइट दैट्स व्हाई एट द बिगिनिंग आई सेड डोंट बिलीव इन व्हाट आई हैव व्हाट यू कैन दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट तो स्किल दरकार एजुकेशन स्किल एंड एटीट्यूड तार संगे काना दरकार हमको यू नीड टू हैव द टेक्नोलॉजी ही लेवरेज करवा हमको विदाउट टेक्नोलॉजी एआई हो कि जहाँ जहाँ मशीन लर्निंग हो जहाँ जहाँ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी आसूचे ये टेक्नोलॉजी हमको हेल्प करवा राइट नेक्स्ट आई लिव दिस सार कही सारी तार फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट्स उपरे खाली गोटे कंपैरिजन में कही दूचा पर कैपिटा इनकम रे चाइना पर कैपिटा इनकम 4 times ऑफ इंडिया पर कैपिटा इनकम साउथ कोरिया पर कैपिटा इनकम 3 times ऑफ चाइना रे इनकम एंड सिंगापुर 2 times ऑफ कोरिया रे इनकम राइट जितकी भी हो आमको जेन पर कैपिटा इनकम दरकार $12,000 एवं आम $2,500 अच्छू पॉसिबल 23 इयर्स रे पॉसिबल तो फाइनेंशियल पार्ट में सारी सार मैंने ऑलरेडी कही सारे ना व्हाट आर द प्री रिक्विजिट्स तो काना दरकार ये कही सारे मोर टॉक रे ऑलरेडी now to formalize things see the first 3 things 3D the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman started the budget speech this year with this 3D she said if we want to have a Viksit Bharat then this 3D must be taken care of the first one from the bottom democracy चित्रों टाइटल का ना अच्छे सेमिनार रो inclusive growth and sustainability inclusivity and sustainability development कहाँ लगे development of development by development for people लोकों मान को लगे तो democracy means inclusive growth हमको सबू रुडिमेंटरी जिनस गुड़ाक पुराना कालिया ट्रेडिशनल जिनस गुड़ाक छाड़वाके पड़वा कास्ट ना क्लास ना रिलीजन ना सब जिनस के हमको रिमूव करवा पड़वा राइट देन ओनली आम कैपेबल हो पार्मा सो ग्रोथ मस्ट बी इनक्लूसिव एवरीवन मस्ट बी ए पार्ट ऑफ द मेन स्ट्रीम इकोनॉमी मार्केट इकोनॉमी जी आम कहूँ मार्केट इकोनॉमी पार्टिसिपेट करवा लोक मान पाखे स्कोप थिबा कथा अपॉर्चुनिटी थिबा कथा कैपेबिलिटी भी थिबा कथा राइट तो कैपेबिलिटी आम डेवलप करदमा अपॉर्चुनिटी कहीं गला राइट इंडिया टीम रे किए सक्सेसफुल बैट्समैन हे जल्दी कह आउ नुआटा नुआ पिला कह जेन माने आईपीएल रु आइसन शुभमन गिल आईपीएल रु आसला मत कह आईपीएल नहीं काना ही जदि आईपीएल नहीं आई तार अर्थ तुम कही पार्ब क्या जे शुभमन गिल टैलेंट नहीं थे बोलिकी टैलेंट अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटी पाला बोली से टैलेंट आगे आसला सो एवरी टैलेंट नीड्स अपॉर्चुनिटी सिमिलरली अपॉर्चुनिटी अच्छे टैलेंट रहबार जरूरी है राइट अपॉर्चुनिटी अच्छे टैलेंट रहबार जरूरी है टैलेंट अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट होबार जरूरी है हमको 2 जिनिस दरकार टैलेंट किए करावा गवर्नमेंट तो आसिक टैलेंट नहीं क्रिएट करे मोर टैलेंट हमको निजे डेवलप कर दैट इज कॉल्ड कैपेबिलिटी अपॉर्चुनिटी विल कम फ्रॉम द एजेंसीज फ्रॉम द सप्लाई साइड राइट तो ये लगे आम अपॉर्चुनिटी थी भी निज टैलेंट आम क्रिएट नहीं कर पार्बार अनएम्प्लॉयड रही जाऊँ राइट टैलेंट थी अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट कर नहीं पार्बार लोक रही जाऊँ साइड लाइन होगी सो इनक्लूसिव ग्रोथ मीन्स वी नीड टू क्रिएट बोथ टैलेंट एज वेल एज अपॉर्चुनिटी देन ओनली यू कैन टॉक ऑफ ए डेवलप्ड सोसाइटी ए डेवलप्ड कंट्री राइट डेमोग्राफी जेन आम कहली केन माने विकसित भारत करबे ओनली द यूथ जेन माने स्कूल रे कॉलेज रे जेन माने अच्छो एंड योर परसेंटेज इज 60% ऑफ द इंडियन पॉपुलेशन नाउ सार भी एक कथा कहते यूथ पॉपुलेशन 60% जदि आमर पॉपुलेशन 20 ରୁ 35 वर्ष भितर अच्छो द एंटायर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ए विकसित भारत रेस्ट ऑन योर शोल्डर्स यू हैव टू चेंज योर सेल्फ यू हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ योर कैपेबिलिटी एंड आइडेंटिटी राइट प्लस इनक्लूजन जदि आम 20% 30% लोक मान को मार्केट बाहर रखला कास्ट ना क्लास ना रिलीजन ना रीजन ना देन आम काଣା करूँ आम निजर गोड़े निजे कुड़ारी मारुछु डेभलप हम के 30% 40% बाहर रही मार्केट रू डेभलप किए करावा कहीं नहीं कर सो इनक्लूजन इज necessary. That's to talk about demography. Another important aspect of demography is that 60 plus population, old population. एबे केते परसेंट डांगर अच्छे 10%. 6% ओल्ड पॉपुलेशन संख्या 10 के पहुँचलान 2050 रे इंडिया रे ओल्ड एज पॉपुलेशन संख्या 20% हबार अच्छी. See, 20% means 1/5 of the population will be elderly population. मते निजे कहो काना सिस्टम डेभलप आम करूँ जे 20% माने 30-40 crores लोक मान को एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन केयर करवा लगे. इज देयर एनी सिस्टम डेभलप सो फार? चिंता ही नहीं करवार. कैंसी पॉलिसी नहीं आसबार, कैंसी जगह डिस्कशन नहीं हबार जे व्हाट अबाउट द जेरिएट्रिक केयर, व्हाट अबाउट द सोशल सिक्योरिटी, इमोशनल सिक्योरिटी, साइकोलॉजिकल सिक्योरिटी ऑफ दिस ओल्ड एज पॉपुलेशन. इट इज नॉट एट ऑल ए पार्ट ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट डिस्कोर्स नाउ. तो डेमोग्राफी बोले हम जीवे कि नहीं जान निहाती जीवे. लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी बढ़ी गलानो आम डेभलप करूँ तार संगे जेन ओल्ड एज पॉपुलेशन संख्या बढ़ी गलानो हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ दैट. राइट, दैट टॉक्स अबाउट डेमोग्राफी. देन डिमांड ग्रोथ रेट पर कैपिटा इनकम मिनिमम 8.2% जो ग्रो नहीं करमा 20 years देन इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. ग्रो केंदागिरी हेबा थ्रू स्पेंडिंग. केंदागिरी स्पेंडिंग रे ग्रो हेसी. मल्टीप्लायर पढ़ी दियो पिला माने मल्टीप्लायर केंदागिरी मल्टीप्लायर काम करसी. हाउ डज मल्टीप्लायर वर्क? सकालू 10 टଙ୍କା खर्च कल गोटे जगह जाकर गुपचुप खा लो. गुपचुप वाला 10 टଙ୍କା नहीं काଣା करवा हैं आ गोटे जिनस किसी किणवा मैदा किणला. तुम्हें 10 टଙ୍କା सकाଳେ देइथिलो से 10 टଙ୍କା नहीं गुपचुप वाला मैदा किणला. मैदा वाला से 10 टଙ୍କା नहीं जाकर चीनी किणिकी आनला. चीनी वाला से ही 10 टଙ୍କା तुम्हें देइथिला मॉर्निंग रे से 10 टଙ୍କା नहीं चॉकलेट किणिकी आला. चॉकलेट वाला संध्यारे से 10 टଙ୍କା नहीं मुड़ी पुड़ियाटी किणिकी खाला. राइट, तुम्हें जेन 10 टଙ୍କା मॉर्निंग रे गुपचुप वाला के देइथिलो केते टंकार जी मार्केट रे सेल हैला जिनसो 5टा हैंड चेंज हैला ना. 5टा हैंड चेंज हैला. गुपचुप वाला पर काना कहतला एटा मैदा वाला चीनी पर चॉकलेट वाला मुड़ी वाला. 10 टଙ୍କା 5 थर खर्च है माने 50 टंकार मार्केट रे सेल है. ताके रिवर्स कर दियो. जो मॉर्निंग रे माँ जेन देइथिले 10 टଙ୍କା से खर्च नहीं करी लुभाई रखी दी तो केते टंकार मार्केट रे तुम्हें सेल नहीं हबार रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तुमर थिला. 50 टंकार मार्केट डैमेज कर देला तुम्हें. दैट इज द मल्टीप्लायर. दैट्स व्हाई यू आस्क योर टीचर्स माने एतिले क्लास रे गाना कहसन माय एक्सपेंडिचर इज योर इनकम. जदि गवर्नमेंट कहूचे कुंभ मेला द्वारा आमर 1% GDP बढ़ी जावा क्या नहीं बढ़वा. जदि 66 कोटी लोग जाकर एते टଙ୍କା खर्च गोटे जगह करेंगे निहाती बढ़वा. दैट इज कॉल्ड मल्टीप्लायर. सो इफ यू स्पेंड इट विल हैव ए मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट ऑन द इकोनॉमी. हेतकी टंकार जिनस मार्केट बिक्री है. राइट, तो ये स्पेंडिंग जरूरी है. नाउ स्पेंडिंग लाइन दरकार काना इनकम दरकार. सार कहते इनकम नेसेसरी है, स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग नेसेसरी है, जॉब एंड अर्निंग पोटेंशियल नेसेसरी है. बट मुई जो जॉब करूचे मुई जतकी इनकम करूचे से मुई जतकी मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट नहीं करी पारे. सपोज आई बिकम एन एंटरप्रेन्योर है. एंटरप्रेन्योर करके मुझे 20 लोग मुझे चाकरी देली. जहाँ भी मैं काम करे गोटे बिजनेस कली स्टार्टअपटे कली 20 लोग चाकरी देली. समस्त को दरमा देली अलग अलग. ना यू टेल मी मुई जतकी दरमा पाई स्पेंड कर से बेसी मल्टीप्लायर इनकम जनरेट करवा कि जेन 20 लोग दरमा देकर कली से बेसी क्रिएट करवा तो केनटा इंपोर्टेंट है. Yes, become an employer. Don't run behind jobs only. जेन मानकर पॉसिबिलिटी अच्छे, टैलेंट अच्छे, कैपेसिटी अच्छे, कैपेबिलिटी अच्छे, बिकम एन एंटरप्रेन्योर. तार द्वारा आम डिमांड के भी जनरेट करि पारमा. राइट, सार MPC कथा कहते मंथली पर कैपिटा कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर बढ़ुचे इंडिया रे. लास्ट 20 years से स्लाइटली डाउन होइছে बट ओडिसा रे बढ़ी. रूरल ओडिसा रे आहरी बढ़वा एबे बढ़वा. तो स्पेंडिंग कले इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ बढ़वा. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ बढ़ले आम बाकी सेक्टर भी ध्यान दे पारबा. दिस इज द बेसिक फिलॉसफी. राइट, देयरफॉर कैपेबिलिटी आइडेंटिटी संगे संगे व्हाट इज नेसेसरी इज दिस 3 थिंग्स: डिमांड मैनेजमेंट, डेमोग्राफी एज ए डिविडेंड, पॉपुलेशन एज बेनिफिट, एंड फाइनली ए डेमोक्रेटिक सेट ऑफ. डेमोक्रेटिक माने खाली पॉलिटिकल डेमोक्रेसी नहीं, इकोनॉमिक डेमोक्रेसी, सोशल डेमोक्रेसी एंड कल्चरल डेमोक्रेसी टू. right? Next. I leave this. So this is the middle income trap. This is the World Development Report. Now the World Development Report says that we want to empower Indian youth for a Viksit Bharat. 3 things must be taken care of, and it talks about 3I. One is called, the first one is called investment. Second I is called infusion of technology, jana mu कहली आगरू. And third is called innovation. SARC भी innovation index कथा कहूतले. Innovation, right? तो ऊपर में कोई साइलेंट already. So you need investment. You need investment कले काना हवा multiplier effect हवा. हेतले government capital expenditure बढ़ुचे. So you need investment. Minimum 40%, 32% India investment. You need 40% investment. ताले बेसी job creation दरकार, right? So we need investment. We need infusion of technology. Then at final, lastly, innovation, new knowledge, fresh knowledge, and out-of-box knowledge. This is necessary. इन्हें खाली गुट्टे में रेफरेंस आगे कर दिया तो सार कहते R&D एक्सपेंडिचर देखो इंडिया रे केते अछि जेतिले हम कहते इफ्स एंड बट्स अछि एते इजीली कोई ना पर विकसित भारत हे जावा बोली R&D एक्सपेंडिचर आई वाज जस्ट कंपेयरिंग सी इसराइल 5.56% of GDP रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट रे इसराइल एतकी स्ट्रांग कंट्री क्या है रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट रे 5.56% स्पेंड करसी साउथ कोरिया 4.93%, US 3.46%, इंडिया के दे 0.64%, not even 1%. Our research and development expenditure एतकी कम अछि. That's why at the beginning I said we need to reorient our policies, prioritize the things that we have been following for years and decades, right? It has sir कही दिसन already multidimensional poverty, take it out. Yes, 2 things that must be taken care. We सब हला पर आउ दिटा जिनस हला एनवायरनमेंट क्लाइमेट चेंज स्टिग्लिच काना कहले तांगर बुक रे द प्राइस ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी इंडिया रे 55% थॉमस पिकेटी बुक यू मस्ट हैव रेड जन में पढ़ी 55% वेल्थ 10% लोक मान दिस इज रिसेंट स्टडी 55% वेल्थ 10% लोक पाखे अच्छी तो गोटे प्राइवेटाइज्ड इकोनॉमी रे आमे जेनटा कैपिटलिस्ट सेक्टर के जाइछू द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट प्रॉब्लम इज द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ वेल्थ इन फ्यू हैंड्स इनइक्वालिटी राइट दैट हैज टू बी चेक्ड एंड व्हाट थॉमस पिकेटी सेज रिटर्न ऑफ कैपिटल इज ग्रेटर देन द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न टू इन्वेस्टमेंट कैपिटलिस्ट में जेन पैसा लगौछन तार रिटर्नटा इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ में बेसी अच्छी तार थकाना पैसा बेसी कहार पके जाऊे कैपिटलिस्ट पके जाऊे और रिसेंट डेवलपमेंट है कैपिटल एंड पॉलिटिकल बिकमिंग पल्स नाउ यू मस्ट हैव सीन द वेरी क्लोज रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प एंड एलन मस्क what message it is giving to the society the political class and the capitalists they are coming closer at the cost of whom the laborer now the laborers are sidelined once the capitalist and the political class they come together and the indications are that corporation tax going down consistently world over and Trump is now threatening countries to reduce the tax rate. So by doing that, what we are doing? We are filling the exchequer of the capitalist class at the cost of the laborers. That is the price of inequality. So that we must take care of, otherwise it is not possible to have a Viksit Bharat, right? This is the world capital income ratio. I leave this PPT. This is from Thomas Piketty book I have taken. World income or maximum capitalist pakke hi jaouche. Yes, this is the book Animal Spirit by George Akerlof. You must read this. Capitalism does not act as the policeman. It has to be controlled through financial regulations, bankruptcy law and equity. Free market cannot work well in healthcare, education, inclusion, environmental protection. Right? So therefore, we must take care of all these things. Next. Okay, ite agota. So just 2 minutes on Odisha. 2-3 minutes. Now see role of states like Odisha in Viksit Bharat. Now there are two types of, as I said, without the contribution of people, state cannot grow. Without strong states, it is not possible to have a Viksit India, right? We have two categories of states, or we can broadly classify states into two different categories. The category one state are those who specialize on goods, primary commodities, manufactures, also minerals. All these things are tradable. They earn tax, they earn income out of that. There are another category of states, they specialize on non-tradable like human capital, or better than, they are better than the first category state because they earn income out of that. Human capital जहाँ strong होचे like Kerala, most strong. ओडिशा रो problem होचे, आमे ना first category strong होचु ना second category strong होचु. So therefore, if we want to have a developed India, we need to talk about the states, strong states, and for that we need to emphasize on both these two categories of states and those categories of states which are neglected on both the front. Leave it. Leave it. Right. So I'll conclude by saying this. There are three approaches. Time higalanu. There are three approaches that must be given a thought. 3A we say availability, accessibility, and absorption. Things must be made available, must be accessible to people, but the most important thing is how people utilize those services. Right? आम शुणीचु क्या 2 टंकिया चाउल नहीं बिकी देकी मद पी दौन शुणीचु कि गवर्नमेंट देइछे तुम टॉयलेट गुड़ा गाँव में टॉयलेट काଣା करूछन स्टोर हाउस कर देछन छेली रखी दौन गाई रखी दौन. Now what is the problem? These are all behavioral qualities. How do you utilize the services given or goods given by the society or government? So that talks about utilization. It is all about behavior. So therefore, I conclude by saying that Viksit Bharat is possible provided we make our youth capable enough, capable to express their choices, capable to express their freedom. It is not the freedom in utility sense, freedom in capability sense, freedom sense, right? So therefore, we need to improve their capability, at the same time take care of the identity aspect, environment aspect, and the inequality aspect. Then only a sustainable and inclusive society can bring a Viksit Bharat, right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful and thought-provoking address. Now, to formally extend our gratitude, I now invite Mr. Roshan Pradhan to deliver the vote of thanks for this session. Sir, may I kindly request you to take the stage.
Respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, dear participants, and my fellow colleagues, good afternoon, and a warm thank you to each and every one of you for being part of this session. As Dukhabandhu sir was saying in the beginning that this is one of the most challenging sessions, basically the post-lunch session. But I think Dukhabandhu sir made it very lively with its his talk was a mix of jokes, pun, and serious economics. So I think the students were very inspired by it. And also Uma sir was, though his speech was very long, it was very engaging, and I can say that from the faces of the students and the way they were listening to it. So it is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of Department of Economics, Manikeswari University. I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our keynote speaker, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, and our guest of honor, Dr. Pati sir, for sharing their valuable insights, knowledge, and expertise on this particular topic. Once again, thank you everyone for your participation. Thank you.
Now we move on to technical session 2, which will commence shortly. I request our student volunteers to quickly set up the PPT presentation and other technical requirements. Meanwhile, I take this opportunity to invite our co-chairperson and chairperson, Dr. Sujit Pradhan and Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu respectively, to kindly take their seats on the dais to preside over this session. Our co-chairperson, Dr. Sujit Pradhan, please come. Now, I have the honor of handing over this session to our esteemed chairperson, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu. Sir, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam Sahu, once again. So in this session, actually, we have three presentations by Ms. R. Amravati and Mr. Govind Pradhan and Mr. Chodaganga Sahu. So I think this Amravati presentation is actually a leftover presentation of the previous session. So we'll start with Madam Amravati's presentation. So each presentation will be given some 15 minutes because we have question answer session. So maximum 12 to 15 minutes actually, please try to complete. Thank you.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Myself R. Amravati. My paper is Women's Education and Sustainable Development, Challenges and Opportunities. We know that education is a powerful tool for individual and societal transformation. Development indicators such as HDI, PQLI, and the MPI incorporate education as a fundamental component in accessing a nation's development. When women are educated, they gain the ability to make informed decisions, contribute to economic growth, and break the cycle of poverty. Women's education is not just a matter of gender equality, but a fundamental prerequisite for inclusive and sustainable development. When we consider the census of India 2001 and 2011, the female literacy rate in India saw a significant rise from 54.16% in 2001 to 65.46% in 2011, reflecting a decadal growth of 11.3%. Similarly, in Odisha, female literacy improved even more, increasing from 50.51% to 64.01% with a higher growth rate of 13.5%, suppressing the national average. When it comes to scheduled tribe female literacy, India witnessed an increase from 34.76% in 2001 to 49.36% in 2011, marking a decadal growth of 14.6%. In Odisha, however, the growth was even more remarkable, rising from 23.3% to 41.2%, achieving a higher decadal growth rate of 17.9%. Although female literacy is increasing, still it is less than male literacy due to various factors. Importance of women's education in sustainable development. Sustainable development, as defined by the United Nations, aims to meet present needs without compromising the ability to future generations to meet needs. Women's education is central to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 4, quality of education, and Goal 5, gender equality. Educated women contribute significantly to various aspects of development, such as first, economic growth. Education enhances women employability and access to economic opportunities. Educated women are more likely to secure stable jobs, start business, and contribute to economic productivity as well as to household income. Secondly, improved health outcomes. Literacy improves awareness about health, nutrition, and hygiene. Educated women are more likely to adopt healthy practices and access healthcare services. Maternal and child mortality rates decline when women receive proper education. Awareness to reproductive health leads to better family planning and well-being. Then we have environmental sustainability. Women with education are more likely to engage in sustainable practices, participate in conservation efforts, and educate their children on environmental responsibilities. Social empowerment. Education fosters women's participation in governance, leadership, and decision making, leading to more equitable society. Breaking the cycle of poverty. Education enables women to secure stable jobs, reducing dependence on others. Financially independence empowers women to invest in their children's education. Women with education are more likely to support social and community development. Sustainable Development Goals and Global Impacts. Women's education directly contributes to SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 5, gender equality. Enhancing progress towards poverty eradication, economic growth, and environmental sustainability, and fosters a more just, inclusive, and equitable global society. Challenges hindering women's education. There are so many factors which are responsible for low female literacy. First one is cultural and societal barriers. Traditional gender norms often prioritize boys' education over girls. Early marriage and childbearing responsibilities restrict women from pursuing education. Also, patriarchal mindsets discourage female empowerment through learning. Second is economic constraints like poverty, cost of schooling, opportunity cost. Poverty forces many families to invest in boys' education while neglecting girls as they pursue men as future breadwinners. Cost of schooling. The cost of schooling, including tuition fees, uniforms, and transportation, creates financial burden. Similarly, opportunity cost. Additionally, the opportunity cost of educating a girl as opposed to engaging her in domestic force or labor is a significant deterrent. Next one is lack of infrastructure. Inadequate school facilities, lack of sanitation, and absence of female teachers discourage girls from attending schools. Security concerns. Fear of sexual harassment and gender-based violence on the way to school discourages parents from sending their daughters to study, particularly in rural and conservative areas. Opportunities for enhancing women education. First is investment in infrastructure will help increasing the female literacy. Establishing more schools with proper sanitation, improving transportation, and providing safe learning environments will encourage girls to complete their education. Second is strengthening scholarship programs, expanding financial aid to support girls from low-income families. Community awareness programs such as educating families about the benefits of girls' education will increase the literacy rate. Vocational training and digital education, equipping women with modern skills to enhance employability, and then encouraging female role models to increase to promote the girls' education. Then policy reforms and stronger implementation, strengthening legal frameworks for compulsory education and enforcing laws against child marriage and gender discrimination will pave the way for increasing the literacy. So in my conclusion, I may say that women's education is a cornerstone of inclusive growth and sustainable development. Investing in women's education is essential for achieving sustainable development, and despite persisting challenges, strategic policy interventions, community involvement, improved infrastructure, and technological advancements can bridge the educational divide. Empowering women through education leads to a more prosperous, equitable, and sustainable Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the
Yes. Yeah. It's relatively easy to present in the second session after the rejuvenation created by esteemed chair and my teacher Pati sir. So I'm going to talk about assessing the impact of sustainability cash transfer scheme on farm investment in Odisha, India. Yeah, we all know about the importance of farm investment in enhancing agriculture. But this is a joint project, and what we are looking in this scheme is that what is the impact of cash transfer scheme such as Kalia Yojana, which was that is Kursak Assistance for Livelihood and Income Augmentation, implemented in 2018, and PM Kisan Yojana implemented in 2019 on farm investment. So we next. Yeah. So our research questions are: does cash transfer scheme causally impact farm investment? And second is that if yes, how it impacts current and capital farm investment. So coming to the methodology part, we are using quasi-experimental research design, and our data sources are NSSO 77 round for situation assessment survey and a field survey, and the field survey was conducted in 3 unirrigated blocks of Kalahandi, that are like Madanpur, Rampur, Nalla and the Kollamunda block. And the universe of the study is Odisha, and unit of analysis is household. As I mentioned, we are only picking 2 schemes, that is the Kalia and the PM Kisan, and we are considering to those households who are getting these 2 schemes. So if I am a household, I am only getting any of the 2, then I am not eligible to come into the survey. And then coming to the data analysis part, we are using Fuji regression, discontinuity design, and statistical tools such as average and percentage. So let's start with a descriptive statistics of farm investment in India. We can look that in Indian scenario, and this is data from situation assessment survey, and we are only considering here to the operational households. And majority of the farm investment goes to modern inputs, followed by labor cost, and the last at the capital expenditure. Next. Yeah, having a state level analysis, you can see the graph. The red column signifies those states whose farm investment is below the national average, and Odisha is one of the states where the farm investment is below the national average. So we consider to work on Odisha. So next. Yeah. So you may. So our objective is to let's say assess the impact of this cash transfer scheme. So you may say that you might use dummy variable for calculating the effect. Why you are going for a fancy term such as regression discontinuity design? So the immediate answer is this, for this is that if we will use simple dummy variable model, then it suffer from the omitted variable biases as well as the endogeneity problem. That's why we plan to work on the regression discontinuity design. The next immediate question is that what is so special about the regression discontinuity design? The speciality about the regression discontinuity design is it is a natural experiment techniques, and it mimics some kind of randomization, and the process is such that like it considers something like outcome variable, running variable, and cutoff variable. So if we are trying to like, if we are assessing the impact of let's say cash transfer scheme such as Kalia. So if I have the cutoff is 5 acres. If my landholding is below 5 acres, then I am eligible for the scheme, and if my landholding is above 5 acres, then I am not say not eligible for the scheme. So what we are doing is that we are just comparing in just below the cutoff and above the cutoff, assuming and that it is they are same in aspect of other covariates also, as suggested by Angris Joshua in 2009. So we can and other thing is that if there is no any causal effect of the treatment, then the curve will be smooth one. And if there is any discontinuity, then it is because of treatment. So you may say that there are other schemes as well. Let's suppose that if I have land holding below 5 acres, then I am also eligible for the PDS, and PDS saves some amount of my monthly consumption expenditure. Is it? And if it is also impacting the farm investment, then it is very difficult to distinguish whether it is because of cash transfer scheme or the PDS. So what is that? The discontinuity should only because of the treatment, not because of any other covariates. Next. So yeah, this is the mathematical formulation of the RDD model. That suppose I am not getting the treatment y0i, then it will be alpha plus beta xi. Next, I am not going to explain it. Yeah, then the regression discontinuity design has two assumptions. As I mentioned, first one is the continuity. That is, all other observable variables are continuous at the cutoff, and the jump is only because of the cutoff. And the second is no sorting across the cutoff, means units cannot sort themselves to be eligible at the cutoff. So they cannot sort themselves and not lie. And for this we also collect information on the land, sell and buy, and only 7 households have the transactions out of 596 households. Next. Yeah, this is testing for that is not, the star mark is there for statistical significance, that is not coming here. And the coefficient signifies that none of the coefficients other than the treatment is statistically significant. By looking at the standard error also we can know that. Next. And now we are looking for the no sorting across the cutoff assumptions, and there is a technique by McKee test, and the null hypothesis of the test is that the density of owned leasing is continuous at the cutoff. That means there is no manipulation, and here the P statistics is 0.88, so we cannot reject the null hypothesis. Next. So there is no any manipulation at the cutoff. Now the next thing is that there are two kinds of RDD. One is sharp RDD and another is the fuzzy RDD. So if everybody below the cutoff get the treatment, then you can easily use sharp RDD. But if the treatment is not such that everybody below the cutoff is getting the benefits, then you can use the fuzzy RDD. So you can see that those who get the treatment, their range is from 0.03 acres to 4.96 acre, and those in the control group means there are some people below the 5 acres land and they are not getting the treatment. That's why we use the fuzzy RDD method. Next. Yeah, and this is the equations. Yeah, here we can say that, see that there is a sharp discontinuity for the farm investment, and this is also for, and the farm investment is decomposed into two parts. One is your current investment, another is the capital investment. And here is the result. So yeah, they are getting 16,000 rupees, 10,000 from Kalia scheme and 6,000 from the PM Kisan scheme. Out of that, they are making expenditure of the investment of roughly 6,000 on the farm investment, and other part is going for the other purposes. And within that, majority is going for the current investment. Next. And within the current investment, we can see that also the majority part is goes to only using fertilizer cost, and some amount also goes to the labor cost. Next. Yeah. So to conclude, I can say that yes, the cash transfer scheme has impact on farm investment, but it is not in totality. Given a distress-driven area like Kalahandi, only 37% is going to the farm investment, and within the farm investment, majority of the farm investment is going for the fertilizer, which is not a good sign for a sustainable agriculture. And also it has some impact on labor force dynamics, labor market dynamics in the rural Odisha, in particularly Kalahandi. Next. Thank you.
Actually, we have questions and answers.
presentation is by Mr. Sahu. So the third presentation is by Mr. Chodanga Sahu. Is he around? Oh, it's there.
So, my topic is morbidity transition and its determinant, a regional level analysis of Odisha. So basically, in the previous sessions, Umacharan Das sir were talking about how Odisha has improved in terms of infant mortality, how the lifespan is increasing. But in this study, we are talking about how the disease patterns and prevalence is changing in Odisha, and also in a regional level also, not only at a state level but also in a regional level. Okay. So India is going through a very significant epidemiological transition. That means the major cause of death is now changing from infectious diseases to cardiovascular diseases and non-communicable diseases. And these transitions face a major public health challenges because not only the infectious diseases are high, but also the non-communicable diseases are high in India. For example, let's talk about the case of tuberculosis. In world, the share of tuberculosis prevalence is 27%. In India, that means 27 total prevalence in the world. India shares is 27%, and 2.8 millions out of 10.6 million total in the world. There are in the year 2022 there were 10.6 million cases of tuberculosis, out of which 2.8 million was in India. So WHO had this target of achieving TB-free world by 2030, but we are the present government has targeted to achieve the TB-free India by 2025. That means this year. So our share of global burden of tuberculosis is 27% in the world, and we are targeting to achieve a TB-free India by 2025. And none of the developed countries have this kind of prevalence rate of tuberculosis as it is in India. So we are talking about a developed India by 2047. So first of all, let's end tuberculosis, this deadliest disease. And there was one article which was published in Nature. So in the history of diseases, which disease was the most deadliest one, and which disease has the most toll on life in the history? And it was the tuberculosis. The tuberculosis, the cumulative death because of the tuberculosis is 1 billion till this date. So imagine. So let's not discuss about that tuberculosis part. So my study is about the disease burden and its changing pattern in Odisha. Next slide. There were many studies which previous one. Yes. There were many studies which have highlighted the increasing disease burden, but I would like to highlight only one one study, which is a series of paper by a global body of disease collaborators, which emphasized that the CVD, that is cardiovascular diseases, the respiratory diseases, and the mental disorder, these non-communicable diseases are rising in India, and Odisha is not different from the India. Since we are short of time, go to objective and methods. Yes. So in this paper, we have studied the prevalence and determinant of changing pattern of self-reported morbidity in Odisha from 2004 to 2018. So for this, we have used the morbidity morbidity data from National Sample Survey Organization, which were conducted in 2004, the 60th round, 2014, the 71st round, and 2007. Collects the data about morbidity. The NSSO, the statistical investigator, go to respondent and ask whether you have any kind of morbidity in the last 15 days. So this is how the NSSO usually collects the data. But this data set is very questionable because 15 days reference period, and it is a self-reported morbidity because for person to persons, their perception about their health changes. And now we have categorized the self-reported morbidity into 5 different categories. That is disability, non-communicable illness, infectious diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and the cardiovascular disease. This is based upon the international classification of diseases by WHO. Can you click on that supplementary table? It is not visible. Leave it. It's not visible. Leave it. Next. Yes, let's discuss about some observational studies. In 2004, the rural areas had 77% prevalence rate, that is prevalence per person reporting morbidity per 1,000 population, which has increased from 77 to 105.3, but again it decreased to 87.3 per 1,000 population. But in urban area, there is a sharp increase in the reporting of morbidity from 54 to 117 from 2004 to 2018. But there is a slight decline in morbidity pattern from 14 to 18. Next slide. Yes, this is one of the most important slide here, particularly the cardiovascular disease and non-communicable disease. The cardiovascular disease prevalence was 1.49 per 1,000 in 2004, which has increased to 13.39%. Sorry, 13.39 per 1,000 population. So prevalence rates is usually calculated per 1,000 population, not in percentage terms. So whenever you are talking about prevalence, it is per 1,000. And also cardiovascular, there is a sharp surge in cardiovascular disease and non-communicable disease from 2004 to 18. Next. figures. Yes, there are tables, big tables are there, but I am not able to show it in the PPT. So 3 rounds of data and 5 categorization, and there are multiple variables are there. So it is very big table. So it is not. I cannot show it. Can you please click on that table 1? Chitra. So tables are not visible, but let me summarize the entire my findings. So what is happening? There is a double burden of disease in India, and non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases both are rising. If you look at the gender-based differences, then female have a higher burden of the non-communicable diseases as compared to males. In Odisha, so it is Odisha, and there is a high prevalence of disability among women as compared to men. Maybe the risk factors we talk about whenever you talk about anything in health economics, we talk about the risk factors. Why the women are more prone to non-communicable diseases? Because they are more prone to second-hand smoke, such as high level of body mass index. And in the regional differences that in my analysis, the coastal Odisha had higher prevalence of cardiovascular disease and non-communicable disease in 2004. But in 2018, the northern region has surpassed the coastal region in terms of cardiovascular disease and non-communicable disease prevalence. For example, Bargarh was in news for higher rates of cancer. It was reported in the Down to Earth one article. There was a big story, and it was very much in the news. So my analysis also supports that findings. So to conclude, target-based health policy is needed in Odisha, and there should be the elderly should be properly taken care of, and yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chodagangu Sahu. So, if any questions for those 3 presentations, otherwise we can, because we're running short of time, we can wind up with Dr. Pradhan. Pradhan will take 1-2 minutes to wind up, and don't take. Thank you.
Questions actually can ask to the presenters over a top of
respected chairperson of the session, the presenters and all the dignitaries of the dais. So there are 3 presentations done by Amravati, Govinda and Chodagangu Sahu. The first one dealt with women's education and sustainable development, and she focused on women literacy and development as there is a positive relationship between these two, and educated women contribute to the growth through stable job, political participation, children's education, and that is why there should be infrastructure, financial aid and vocational training for the women. The second paper dealt with assessing the impact of cash transfer scheme on farm investment, and he basically talked about Kalia and PM Kisan, and with different statistical tools he concluded that it has an impact on farm investment, but it has the problem that investment in fertilizer and labor are more, and which is not a good sign for sustainability of agriculture. The third one dealt with morbidity transition and its determinants in Odisha. He also concluded that there are rising CBD, that is cardiovascular disease and non-communicable disease, and the target-based health policy is the need of the hour. Thank you.
to the final segment of our seminar, the valedictory session. I request all esteemed dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. Our Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Nivedita Nath, Professor Kanhaiya Ahuja, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, Dr. Umacharan Pati, Dr. Chitrasen Bhuye sir. Yes, sir. Please come to the dais and take your seats. I now request our student volunteers to kindly facilitate our esteemed guests with sapling as a token of our gratitude. And now I request our Honorable VC Ma'am for memento as a token of our gratitude. Now, to provide a comprehensive summary of today's discussion and key takeaways, I now invite Dr. Chitrasen Bhuye, Head of Department of Economics, to deliver the seminar summary. Sir, may I kindly request you to take the stage.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Nivedita Nath, esteemed Chief Guest Professor Kanhaiya Ahuja sir, distinguished guest of honor Professor Umashankar Das in absentia, Dr. Umacharan Pati, Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu, my dear respected faculty members, scholars, dear students, and esteemed guests, and the media persons and those who are present here. A very warm and respectful evening to all of you. It gives me an immense pleasure to stand before you today as the convener of this national seminar and present the comprehensive summary of today's deliberations. Over the course of this intellectually stimulating seminar, we have engaged in thought-provoking discussions, scholarly debates, and insightful presentations that have provided deep understanding of Viksit Bharat 2047's and Odisha's role in shaping sustainable and inclusive future. The seminar began with an inaugural session where we were honored by the presence of esteemed dignitaries who set the stage for meaningful discourse. We had the privilege of listening to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Nivedita Nath, whose visionary leadership and commitment to academic excellence have been instrumental in elevating Manikeswari universities as the center of learning and research. We were deeply enriched by the keynote address delivered by Ahuja sir, followed by Umashankar Das sir in the morning session. And in this plenary session 1, we had the privilege to understand the broad vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, the economic frameworks essential for these transformations, and the policy imperative that need urgent attention. In the second plenary session, took a more regional focus where Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu and Dr. Umacharan Pati discussed Odisha's role in this journey, its economic potential, industrial expansions, infrastructure development, and environmental challenges that need to be tackled for achieving sustainable growth. Both the sessions were followed by engaging discussions where there were a lot of discussions and critical understanding. There are 2 technical sessions, and these 2 technical sessions cover diverse topics such as social policies for Odisha's elderly populations, agricultural productivity, and women's education in sustainable development. It also focuses on cash transfer schemes, addressing agricultural disparities in Odisha and mobility transition in the state. These sessions reflected a strong research foundations and policy relevance in addressing India's developmental challenges. A major highlight of the seminar, which most of you have missed, those who are from outside, is the competition that we did on the occasion of National Seminar. We had done 3 different competitions with the students. The quiz competitions, which was, the topic was Viksit Bharat at 2047. Essay competitions on Viksit Bharat 2047, Odisha's pathway to inclusive and sustainable development. Then we had debate competitions, Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047, is it an achievable dream? And all the students of the economics department, they had participated in all these different competitions. Some of the key takeaway of the seminar could be strengthening institutions for development is the most important challenge that both India as well as Odisha is facing right now. Another challenge is that we can say is bridging the regional disparity. Odisha, with its rich natural resources, must leverage its industrial and agricultural potential while addressing social and infrastructure inequalities. The third takeaway could be sustainability and innovations, and investment in human capital, which is one of the most important thing. Investment in education, skill development and healthcare will be critical in shaping India's journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. The last one, youth as the driving force. The participation of students in today's seminar reaffirms the role of young minds in shaping India's future. Thank you very much, all of you, for listening me fully. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the thoughtful summary of the national seminar. Before we conclude, I would now like to open the floor for reflection and opinions from our participants. If any student would like to share their thoughts about the seminar, please feel free to come forward. If any student interested, please come forward to the stage. Any one student.
Good evening, everyone. It's always inspiring to be a part of discussion that go beyond the theory and focus on the real impact. Today's seminar was on such experience. It highlights how the right policy and well action can drive progress. It shows how small step to a right direction can lead to a great change. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana.
Sir, for short opinion.
It is now time to hear from our esteemed guest, the chief guest of our national seminar, Professor Kanhaiya Ahuja, to share their thought about the seminar.
Good evening. I know that you have been sitting here since early morning. Couple of things, ma'am. A big round of applause for these students who have been sitting here since morning, And, I've been the part of many such events. I don't know the number of events I've been the part of. But yes, this is the first time, I tell you very frankly, I'm very, very open in my opinion. This is the first time I've seen that the Vice Chancellor, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, is there since the beginning of the program till the end of the program. Normally what happens, one program ends and then the Vice Chancellor goes back into her office or his office, and then we have to remind her again and again, sir, valedictory hoga, pizza paiyega. But she has been here since morning and taking part in each and every activity, listening to the experts, and a very active participant. So thank you so much, ma'am, for I tell you very frankly, if this is the kind of support you have, then you should be absolutely sure that your university is in the safest hands. Thank you so much. And one more person, who has been, this girl, I don't know, what's her name? Sahu. Yeah, I'm a big round of applause for her also. She is been very nice and conducting this program with a lot of grace and elegance. So thank you so much. And once again, before I leave this place, my very, very sincere gratitude towards Professor Simanchal Mishra, Chitra Sen, and this very wonderful university for the invite and meeting all these lovely speakers and other people around. So thank you so much, and I would cherish these memories for the long. Thank you so much.
To officially conclude this seminar, I now have the honor of inviting our respected Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Nivedita Nath Ma'am, to deliver the closing remarks. Ma'am, may I kindly request you to come to the stage.
Dema Manikeswari, a very good evening to one and all, esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Ahuja, Dr. Pati, Dr. Sahu, all the faculties, the convener of the seminar, sir, you should sit there. And all the participants, I can see Dr. Umesh Chandra Satpathy sir is also sitting from the beginning to the end. Thank you so much, sir. And what are the key takeaways, dear students, quickly, what are the key takeaways from this seminar? The first one, which all the guests told, starting from Professor Ahuja to Dr. Sahu to Dr. Pati to Dr. Das, that Viksit individual is necessary to make Viksit Bharat or Viksit Odisha or Viksit Kalahandi. Right? And Professor Dr. Pati has clearly told that how we can be a Viksit individual. So that should be your first motto. Then the second takeaway is that what Dr. Pati told, all the guests also told in their speech, that only education will not make us successful, or by only education we cannot make a Viksit India or Viksit Bharat. We need three things for that: capital, education and skill. And I will tell that till date we are giving importance to education and capital, but we are not giving importance to skill, which again and again the collector and district magistrate also told in our annual function. So dear students, along with having education, along with getting education, give priority also to get skill. And IIT Delhi is doing one skill enhancement program in our university, and they are giving training on ChatGPT and blockchain technology, and there is very less number of attendance. So it's my sincere request, please acquire those skills, please register for those skill training programs and make yourself a skilled individual and also an educated individual. And lastly, I will not take much time also. I am very much thankful to the whole Department of English, to the convener, Dr. Bhue, to Simanchal sir, sorry, economics, sorry, Simanchal sir, Dr. Bhue, all the faculties and all the research scholars and Sonalika ma'am and everyone, that they have sacrificed their 3-day holiday, as I told in the beginning. They didn't get time, and they told that amara kichhi asubidha nahi, amara holi sabu barsha aschi, but this year we will do seminar. And and Kali Simanchal sir and Chitra Sen sir, they were sending me agenda, the photo of dias, photo of banner, everything, that this has been done, this has been done. So they have totally sacrificed their holidays, and I can see my students. बहुत सेमिनार एमती हुए कि स्टूडेंट मान को डाकी डाकी कि आने बाकू पड़े, बट इन स्पाइट ऑफ द हॉलीडेज, इन स्पाइट ऑफ आफ्टर एनुअल फंक्शन, just before 3 days we have, finished our annual function. Still, I can see the enthusiasm and the energy among the students to hold again a seminar, and the hall is full from the morning to the evening. So a big round of applause to all the students. And I think this seminar is very successful, and thanks goes to everyone, all the teaching, non-teaching staff, all the students. My sincere thanks to all the guests for coming all the way and spending their valuable time. And let us continue this spirit. Let us continue this journey. Let us continue this spirit. And the last line, everyone don't run after white collar jobs or services. Be entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable VC ma'am, for your inspiring and beautiful words, ma'am. And now it is time for one of the most awaited moments, the announcement of the result for the competition held as part of this seminar. We sincerely appreciate the enthusiastic and participation of all the students. Now for the distribution of prize, now I would like to request Mr. Roshan Padhar to come to the stage to distribute the prize with me. First, we announce the result of Asia competition. And the third prize of essay competition goes to Valedictory. Next, we announce the result of debate competition, and the winners are: first prize goes to Valedictory. Second prize goes to and third prize goes to Sahu. Finally, we announce the result of our quiz competition. The winners are, and the first prize also goes to Group B, and the students are Salman from PG first year, Ankit from PG first year, Malay Sahu from UG third year, Saina Salam from UG second year, Chandra Charan from UG first year, and Paresh from PG second year. And services.
is a special prize which goes to Paresh Deep for securing UGC JRF in this last time. Paresh Deep, please receive your certificate. The second and third prize recipient for quiz group, please wait because we are running out of time. We will give you the prize after the guest has gone. Thank you.
Now, to formally
for the hard work of the HOD Economics, I want that to felicitate HOD Economics, Dr. Chitrasen Bhuye sir. I request the chief guest. Thank you so much, sir, for taking all the pain in organizing this seminar. ପିଲାମାନେ କେତେ ଭଲ ପାଉଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ. And the second one is to one of our senior faculties who is always with us, who is always advising us, guiding us, and he is more young than his age. It's not as per according to his age. I request Himanshu Mishra sir. I request Pati sir, Dr. Pati sir to felicitate Himanshu sir. And now I request our chief guest to felicitate Dr. Sesha Devsuna sir. And a big thank you to all my dear students for their, they are patiently hearing from the morning, for their energy, for their enthusiasm, and a big congratulations and thank you to all the students.
To formally conclude this seminar, I now invite Dr. Suna, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, to deliver the vote of thanks. Dr. Suna, sir, may I request you to take the stage?
Thank you so much. A very good evening to one and all. At the very outset, on behalf of Department of Economics, Manikeswari University, I'd like to express my deep sense of gratitude to our today's chief guest on the occasion, Professor Kanya Ahuja sir, for accepting our invitation and insightful thought with us. I express my heartfelt thanks to Professor Uma Shankar Das sir for giving his valuable time and sharing his expertise with us. I am deeply thankful to Dr. Dukhabandhu Sahu sir for giving his valuable time despite his busy schedule and sharing his wisdom on Viksit Bharat 2047 and enlightening all the participants of the event. Again, I am profoundly grateful to Uma Charan Pati sir for sharing his brilliant expertise with us. I express my profound sense of gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Nivedita Nath Madam, for her guidance, support from beginning to end in organizing such a memorable national seminar. Again, I also offer my thankful gratitude to Registrar Pitambar Bhoi sir in absentia for his encouragement and cooperation. Further, I also offer my sincere thanks to our lovable HOD, Dr. Chitrasen Bhoi sir, and seminar organizing secretary Sri Simanchal Mishra sir for their dedication, commitment, untiring efforts in making this event a grand success. I convey my heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries like Umesh Satpati sir, Pandit sir, Dr. Niranjan Patra sir, Dr. Padmalochan Rao sir, Manoranjan Barik sir, Parikito Naik sir for their active participation in the seminar. I further offer my sincere thanks to all the faculties of Department of Economics and faculties from other departments like Physics, History, Sociology, Anthropology, who have directly or indirectly contributed to the grand success of this occasion. It is my privilege to extend my sincere thanks to all the faculty members and students of affiliated colleges of this university who have joined with us in making this event a grand success. I extend my profound thanks to all the paper presenters for their wonderful presentation in the seminar. I do offer my special thanks to all the research scholars, students of this university for their active participation in this event. My special thanks goes to all the students, volunteers of our department who have actively involved from end to end in organizing this vibrant event and making it a memorable one. Without them, this event would not be successful. Again, I convey my deep sense of gratitude to State Bank of India College Branch for extending their financial support in organizing this seminar. Last but not the least, I convey my special thanks to the media person and technical teams for their technical support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. With that, we officially conclude the National Seminar on Viksit Bharat 2047, Odisha's Pathways to Inclusive and Sustainable Development. We extend our deepest gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, guests, faculty members and students for their active participation in making this seminar a grand success. Before we disperse, I request everyone I request everyone to gather for a group photo session to capture this memorable occasion. Kindly proceed to the designated area for the photographs.